Hello, and welcome to, taking me out with a cattail. My name's Anne, and here with another quarantine theater company reading tonight. The wonderful movie, Seven. It's such a cheerful, bright, positive movie. We all should, it's a family time here. Oh, that's creepy. All right, so um, doing the hard work, the heavy lifting tonight, we've got Jared on scene description. As Detective Somerset tonight, we've got Logan. As Detective Mills doing his best Brad Pitt, we've got George. He'll also be playing a character named George. I know it's a stretch. As the elusive John Doe, we've got Eric, who loves being creepy. As the captain, we've got Johnny. Woohoo, oh, looking very pensive there. That was very wonderful. As Detective Taylor, we've got Molly. And I will be Tracy among other characters. Many of us are playing multiple characters per usual. Anyway, without further ado, take us away.
Seven by Andrew Kevin Walker. The world is a fine place and worth fighting for. Ernest Hemingway, for whom the bell tolls 1940. Interior old house day. Sunlight comes through the soot on the windows, more brown than bright. Somerset, 45, stands in one corner of this small second-story room. He looks over the ceiling. It looks down at the wooden floors, looks at the peeling wallpaper. He walks to the center of the room, continues his study, taking his time. He halts, turned to one wall where the current wallpaper is torn away to reveal flowery wallpaper underneath. Somerset goes to this wall and runs his finger across one of the pale red roses which decorates the older paper. He pushes the grime away, brings the rose out more clearly. He reaches into his suit pocket and takes out a switchblade. He flips the thin, lethal blade free. Working deliberately, delicately, Somerset cuts a square around the rose, then peels the square of dry wallpaper away from the wall. He studies it. Exterior old house day. Somerset stands in front of the old home. He looks out at the surrounding farms and forests. He ponders something. Is something wrong? Somerset does not respond, but just stares off. The man, 34, wears a real estate broker's jacket, stands beside a for sale sign. Is there something the matter? Somerset turns to face the man, then looks back at the house.
No, it's just that everything here seems so strange.
Strange? There's nothing strange about this place. The house will need a little fixing up, that's for sure.
No, I like the house and this place.
I was going to say, because this place is about as normal as a places get. Somerset nods, taking a deep breath. He smiles.
That's what I mean.
Somerset looks back to the landscape. The man does not understand. He pulls the for sale sign out of the ground. Interior Amtrak train later that day, or later day. Somerset is in the window seat, looking out the window of the speeding train, smoking a cigarette. He is near the back of the car, away from the other passengers. Outside, farms, fields, small homes, and lawns rush by. The panorama is dappled by the rays of the soon-to-be setting sun. Interior Amtrak train later day. The train is almost full, moving slower. Somerset has a suitcase on the aisle seat beside him. He holds a hardcover book unopened in his lap. He still stares out the window, but his face is tense. The train passes through barren terrain. The sun has gone under. The car's burnt-out skeleton sits rustling in the desert. Far ahead, the city waits. The dirty sky is full of smokestacks and huge industrial cranes. Exterior city street, train station, night. Somerset carries his suitcase outside the station. The city demands attention, cars and sirens screeching, people yelling. Somerset passes a family of bewildered tourists. A weird man has a hand on his tourist father's suitcase. It has become a tugging match, with the weird man shouting, "I'll take you to the taxi, I'll take you." Ahead, a group of gathered on the sidewalk near two ambulances. People clamor to get a look at a bloody body. Policemen try to hold the crowd off. Ambulance attendants administer aid to the victims, who convulses. Somerset moves by, ignoring it all. He motions for a cab. One pulls up from the street stream of vehicles. Interior cab night. Somerset throws a suitcase in and shuts the door behind him.
What's the big fuss?
Somerset looks out at the crowd, looks at the driver.
Do you care?
Well, excuse me, all the hell.
The driver leans forward, checking it out. The circle of spectators shifts suddenly. A man has shoved another man, and they're really going at it now. They swing and tear at each other's clothing. One man's flailing fist connects with the other man's face and is bloodied. The fight grows even more spastic as policemen try to stop it.
Crazy fucks.
The driver pulls away. Somerset watches the parade of neon passing on the avenue. He slumps back and closes his eyes.
Where you headed?
Somerset opens his eyes.
Far away from here.
Interior Somerset's apartment, night. The curtains are closed. A car alarm is sounding, shrill and clear. Somerset's life is packed into moving boxes, except for clothing on a closet and hundreds of books on shelves. Somerset is lying on the bed in his underwear. He reaches to the nightstand, to a wooden pyramidal metronome. He frees the metronome's weighted swing arm so it moves back and forth. Swings to the left, tick, swings to the right, tick, 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 measured and steady. Somerset situates on the bed, closes his eyes. Tick, tick, tick. The metronome sound competes with the sound of the car alarm. Somerset's face tightens as he concentrates on the metronome. His eyes close tighter. Tick, tick, tick. The swing arm moves evenly. Somerset's breathing deepens. Tick, tick, tick. The car alarm seems quieter. Tick, tick, tick. Somerset continues his concentration. The metronome sound seems louder. Tick, tick, tick. The sound of the car alarm fades and is gone. The metronome is the only sound. Somerset's face relaxes as he begins to fall asleep. Tick, tick, tick. Insert title card. Sunday. Interior, Somerset's apartment, morning. Quiet. Somerset stands before a mirror, trying his tie carefully, making sure the knot is neat, smoothing his shirt. Next, he takes a suit jacket off the nearby made bed. He holds the jacket up on its hanger, brushing off a speck and inspecting it before sliding it on. Somerset picks items off the moving box, his keys, wallet, switchblade, gold homicide badge. Finally, he opens the hardcover book from the train. From the pages, he takes the pale paper rose. Interior tenement apartment, day. Somerset stands before a wall which is stained by a starburst of blood. A body lies under a sheet. A sawed-off shotgun lies not far from the body. The apartment is gloomy. Detective Taylor, 52, stands looking through a notepad.
Neighbors heard them screaming at each other for like 2 hours. It was nothing new, but then they heard the gun go off, both barrels.
Did the wife confess?
When the patrolman came, she was trying to put his head together. She was trying too hard to say anything.
Somerset begins walking around the apartment.
I always like this. Only after the fact, this sudden realization that person will cease to exist.
Crime of passion?
Yeah. Look at the passion all over the wall here.
This is a done deal, all but the paperwork.
Taylor shifts his weight, impatient. Somerset looks at the coloring book open on the coffee table. There are crayons beside it. Somerset picks the book up, flips through the pages.
Did the son see it happen?
I don't know.
Taylor closes his notebook, perturbed. Somerset looks at the pictures of cute, crudely colored animals.
What kind of fucking question is that anyway?
Taylor grabs the coloring book to get his attention.
You know, we're all real glad we're getting rid of you, Somerset. You know that? I mean, it's always these questions with you. Did the kids see it? Well, who gives a fuck, huh? He's dead. His wife killed him.
Taylor throws the coloring book back to Somerset and walks.
Anything else has nothing to do with us.
Taylor leaves, pushing past Detective David Mills, 31, who is just entering. Mills is muscular and handsome. He looks back at Taylor, then around the apartment, a bit disoriented. Somerset puts down the coloring book. He stares at the floor, showing no reaction to Taylor's tantrums.
Lieutenant Somerset?
Somerset looks to see Mills. Exterior, city street, day. A body bag is carried through a crowd of people outside the tenement building. Somerset and Mills follow. They walk towards the end of the filthy block past a man urinating on a car.
I'm a little thrown. I just got in town like 20 minutes ago and they dumped me here.
Yeah, since we're just starting out, Detective Mills, I thought we could go to a bar, sit and talk for a while. After that, we'll.
Actually, if it's all the same, I'd like to get to the precinct house ASAP, seeing how we don't have much time for this whole transition thing.
Somerset keeps walking, says nothing.
I need to start getting the feel of it all, right? Meet the people.
I meant to ask you something when we spoke on the phone. I can't help wondering, why are you here?
I don't follow.
With all this effort you've made to get transferred, it's the first question that pops into my head.
Oh, I'm here for the same reasons as you, I guess, or at least the same reasons you used to have before you decided to quit.
Somerset stops and faces Mills.
You just met me.
Well, maybe I'm not understanding the question.
It's very simple. You fought to get reassigned as if your life depended on it. I've just never seen it done that way before, Detective.
Well, I thought I could do more good here. I don't know. Look, it'd be great by me if we didn't start right off kicking each other in the balls, but you're calling the shots, Lieutenant, so however you want it to go.
Let me tell you how I want this to go. I want you to look, and I want you to listen.
I wasn't standing around guarding the local Taco Bell. I've worked homicide for 5.5 years.
Not here.
I realize that.
Well, over the next 7 days, do me the favor of remembering it.
Somerset walks away. Mills stands a moment, pissed. He follows. Insert Monday title card. Interior Mills apartment bedroom, early morning. It is barely light outside. Mills is wide awake in bed beside the sleeping form of his wife, Tracy, 30. Mills looks tired. He listens to passing traffic. He covers his eyes with his forearm. He sits up, frustrated. This gets the attention of two dogs lying on the floor, a golden retriever and a collie, who look to Mills. The room is in shambles, filled with moving boxes. Light coming through the window glows upon the football trophy sticking from one box. Large and noble, a golden player stands in frozen motion at the trophy's pinnacle. Mills looks at the trophy and a fond smile forms on his face. The phone rings. Mills looks toward it. Tracy awakens. She looks up with half-open eyes, a beautiful woman.
What is it?
Phone rings. Mills reaches to touch Tracy's shoulder.
It's okay.
Mills leans in to get the phone. Tracy seems frightened.
Honey, where are we?
Exterior apartment building, alleyway, early morning. The trunk of Somerset's car contains a homicide kit, rain gear, surgical gear, etc. Somerset takes out rubber gloves and pockets them, closing the trunk. He walks to join Mills and Officer Davis, a uniformed cop. They pass police cars and head into a trash-strewn alley. Davis hands Somerset 2 flashlights.
Everything's like I found it. I didn't touch anything.
What time did you confirm the death?
Like I said, I didn't touch him, but he's had this face in a plate of spaghetti for, I don't know, 45 minutes now.
Davis pulls open a rusty side door. Interior apartment building stairwell, early morning. They enter a dark, ugly stairwell.
Well, hold on. You mean you didn't check for vital signs?
Did I stutter? Believe me, he ain't breathing unless he's breathing spaghetti sauce.
The point is...
Begging your pardon, but if the guy's sitting in a pile of his own shit, if he ain't dead, he would have stood up by now.
Mills is angry, about to speak, but Somerset heads him off.
Thank you, officer. We'll need to talk to you again after we've looked around.
Yes, sir.
Davis walks out, eyeing Mills. Mills watches him go. The rusty door slams shut. It's very dark. Somerset turns on his flashlight, hands the other to Mills, and starts upstairs.
I wonder what exactly was the point of that conversation you were about to get into.
And I wonder how many times he's found bodies that weren't really dead until he was in the car calling it in and eating a donut.
Drop it.
For now.
Interior apartment building hallway, early morning. Somerset comes from the stairwell. At the end of the dank hall, a door is open. The light of the camera flash spills out every few seconds. Mills and Somerset move on. Somerset takes rubber gloves, looking at something on the floor ahead. A recycling bin sits outside the door. It contains many neat, string-bound stacks of issues of Reader's Digest. Interior apartment living room, early morning. There are lights on in this room, lamps with dusty shades. A few porn mags on the table. Somerset and Mills cross. A couch against one wall is piled with yellowed, once white pillows. It faces 2 small televisions, both on with no sound. Interior apartment kitchen, early morning. Somerset and Mills enter, using their flashlights in the dark. Mills takes out a handkerchief covering his nose. Eric is crouched on the floor, putting camera equipment away. He's wearing a medical mask, hoists his bag, and moves to exit.
Enjoy.
Somerset sweeps the room with his flashlight. At the stove, each burner has a used pot or pan on it. Food has been slopped there and on the adjoining countertop and sink. Used utensils are everywhere, along with empty tin cans and jars. Cockroaches swarm. The flashlight beam follows a trail of dripped sauces, soups, and crumbs of food across the floor, from the stove to a kitchen table. The kitchen table is covered in soiled paper plates, which holds bits of half-eaten sandwiches, potatoes, beef stew, donuts, and many other junk foods. The kitchen is tiny, barely enough room for 3 people. The kitchen table is at the center. An obese man is slumped forward in a kitchen chair, face down dead in a plate of spaghetti.
Jeez, somebody phoned Guinness. I think we got a record here.
Mills walks to the dead man, leaning to steady without touching.
Who said this was murder?
No one yet.
Are we wasting our time? This guy's heart's got to be the size of a canned ham. If this isn't a coronary, I don't know what is.
Somerset moves his flashlight beam down the obese corpse, stops at the man's feet. Somerset kneels. At the obese man's pants cuff, there's a tiny point of metal sticking out. Somerset uses a pen to lift the pant leg. Razor wire is tied around the swollen purple ankle.
Or not.
Somerset stands and steps back. Mills bends to take his place, shining the flashlight into the corpse's lap. The obese man's bloated hands are folded there, bound tightly with rope.
Well, he might have tied himself up, make it look like murder. I saw a guy once wanted his family to collect life insurance, right?
Somerset does not listen. He is focused on the corpse, studies the back of the man's head and neck. He runs his pen against the back of the corpse's neck, combing the hair up. There are small, circular, and semicircular bruises there.
We found him, knife in his back. Except I finally figured out he held the knife behind him, put the tip of it between his shoulder blades, got real close to the wall, and grabbed onto the door jamb.
Would you please be quiet for a while, would you?
Mills looks up at Somerset from below. Somerset remains focused on the bruises.
Oh, forgive me.
Mills stands and walks around to the other side of the table. He gets down again.
There's something here.
What?
There's a bucket under the table.
Somerset crouches, pulls up the cheap tablecloth on his side. A metal bucket sits under the table.
What is it?
Mills slides under with his flashlight, angling in the confined space to look. He is repulsed and pulls back.
Ugh, it's vomit.
Mills stands and backs away near the refrigerator, not wanting to be anywhere near that bucket.
It's a bucket of vomit.
Any blood in it?
I don't know. Feel free to look for yourself, okay?
Somerset stands, stares at the obese man. He shakes his head, perplexed. There is a knock at the door. The detectives look to see Dr. Thomas O'Neill, 52, the medical examiner, in the doorway. O'Neill is looking at the ceiling. He flicks the light switch. No light, so he flicks the switch up and down.
Wonderful.
O'Neill seems a bit gone. He drops his black bag onto the floor beside the corpse. He begins to sort through the bag. Mills turns to open the refrigerator. It's nearly empty.
You think it was poison?
I'm guessing it's useless.
The trash can beside the refrigerator is filled to the brim with empty food containers. Mills begins to poke around with a pen.
You girls have got forensics waiting outside. I don't know if it'll all fit, though.
There's room. Light's the problem.
Somerset looks at Mills, then at the space limitations.
Two's company here. Detective Mills, go help the officers question the neighbors.
Mills looks up, not pleased.
I'll stay on this.
Somerset is looking at the corpse.
Send one of the forensics in on your way out.
Mills does not move. He lifts his flashlight to shine light on the side of Somerset's face. A moment. Somerset looks at Mills, the light shining directly in Somerset's eyes. A longer moment. Mills switches off the light and leaves. O'Neill places both hands on the dead man's head and lifts the swollen visage from the spaghetti.
He's dead.
Thank you, doctor.
Interior Somerset's car, day. Somerset drives with Mills as the passenger. Heavy traffic. Both stare ahead in silence. Mills is a bundle of nerves.
I mean, you've seen my files, right? You've seen the things I've done.
No.
Anyway, I did my time on door-to-doors and walking a beat. I did all that shit for a long time.
Good.
The badge in my pocket says detective, same as yours.
I made a decision. I have to consider the integrity of the scene. Can't worry whether you think you're getting enough time on the playing field.
Yeah, well, all I want is just don't be jerking me off. That's all I ask. Don't jerk me off.
Mills looks at Somerset. Somerset keeps his eyes on the road, but nods slightly. That said, Mills slumps low into his seat.
We'll be spending every waking hour together till I leave. I'll show you our friends and enemies. I'll help you cut through the red tape. I'll help you integrate, as the captain puts it. However, no matter how you beg or plead, jerking off is something you'll have to do for yourself.
This throws Mills. Somerset has a sense of humor.
I don't think we should have that sort of relationship. We just start quarreling over insignificant things.
Mills lets out a nervous laugh, feels a bit of weight off his shoulders.
Whatever you say, detective. Beautiful.
Interior autopsy room day. The room is large, cold, and clean. Stainless steel and white tile. Many pathologists work at slabs. Mills and Somerset are with Dr. Santiago, who stands over the dissected obese corpse.
He's been dead for a long time. I can tell you it was not poison.
Santiago moves to make room for Mills to stand beside him. Mills moves up a little, but not much, looking in disgust. Santiago reaches into the man's belly, moving something. There's a squishy sound we do not see.
Oh, man, how does somebody let himself go like that?
It took 4 orderlies just to put this body on the table.
Somerset leans to peer into jars on the table, organs and blobs of mush sit fluid. Somerset leans closer. In one jar of pulp, 2 small blue flecks float in the preserving fluid. Somerset taps the jar with his finger.
How did that fat fuck ever fit out the door of his apartment?
Please. Obviously, it was a shut-in.
Are you looking here? First, see how big this stomach is.
Somerset turns his attention back to the corpse.
And see this strange thing? Stretches. And here, look at the size of that, because of all the foods.
I can see what you're pointing at, but
Lines of distension across the stomach, and parts have ripped open.
Man ate till he burst.
Well, he didn't really burst, not all the way, but he was bleeding inside himself. And there was a hematoma on the outside, on the belly, very large.
Somerset walks around the slab, looking down at the obese man's propped up, partially shaved head.
he died by eating.
Yes,
These bruises.
On the victim's head, more round and semicircular bruises have been revealed, all about the same diameter as a dime.
I don't know what they are yet. They...
Muzzle of a gun pressed against the back of the head.
Santiago comes to look, nodding.
It's possible. If it was pushed against hard enough, sure.
Mills leans close to the bruises, squinting. He points with his pinky finger without touching.
Christ. Marks from the front sight, flush with the muzzle.
Mills stands straight, eyes excited, almost pleased.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a homicide.
Somerset doesn't share his enthusiasm. Interior Precinct House, Captain's office, early evening. The captain, 50, sits at his desk. He's a calm man, but whenever he's not speaking without fail, he clenches his jaw over and over, causing the muscles in his neck and jaw to pulse. Somerset and Mills sit before him.
He was given a choice. Eat, or your brains get blown out. He ate his fill and was forced to continue.
Somerset gets up to pace.
The killer held a bucket under him and kept serving. Took his time. Coroner says this could have gone on for more than 12 hours. Victim's throat was swollen, probably from all the effort, and there was definitely a point where he passed out. That's when the killer kicked him, popped him.
Sadistic motherfucker.
This was premeditated in the extreme. You want someone dead, you walk into a room and shoot them. You don't risk the time it takes to do this unless the act itself has meaning.
Captain. Captain.
Mm.
Captain Johnny?
Hold on. Somebody had a gripe with a fat boy and decided to torture him.
We found 2 receipts for groceries. That means the killer stopped in the middle of everything and made a second trip to the supermarket.
The captain is disgruntled, clenching his jaw, looks to Mills.
It's his stuff, man. I've been out in the cold all day.
This is beginning.
You don't know that. You got one dead guy, not three, not even two.
No motive.
Don't even start with your big brain cooking on this, all right? We're spread thin as is. I can't afford a task force, 800 lines, and I sure as hell don't need a bunch of cameras up my ass every time I get out of my car.
Somerset sits.
I want to be reassigned.
Whoa, whoa, what?
What are you talking about?
This can't be my last duty here. It will go on and on.
You're retiring in 6 days. You're all the way gone.
Somerset shakes his head.
You've left unfinished business before.
Everything else was taken as close to conclusion as humanly possible. Also, if I can speak freely,
We're all friends here.
you want my opinion? Shouldn't be his first assignment.
Mills stands, furious.
This isn't my first assignment, dickhead. What the hell?
This is too soon for him.
Hey, I'm right here. Say it to my face.
Sit down, Mills.
Can we talk in private? I mean, I told you before, it's not like I'm begging to work with this guy.
Just sit.
Mills does. The captain scratches his face, sighs.
I don't have anyone else to give this to. Somerset, you know that. Nobody's going to swap with you.
Give it to me.
How's that?
He wants out. Goodbye. Give it to me.
The captain considers this, looks to Somerset, pause.
I'm putting you on something else. Go down the hall. We'll shuffle papers and find you a new partner.
Mills looks at Somerset, then leaves, closing the door.
You're stuck cleaning up the fat man. Stop making it more than it is.
Somerset seems deflated, staring at the floor.
That's all, Somerset. You're excused.
Tuesday. Interior Precinct House, Somerset's office. A single window faces a billboard. Traffic is heard. There are moving boxes on the floor. Somerset is at his desk with paperwork in two sloppy piles. He uses a manual typewriter, filling in a yellow form. He types Hunt and Peck. He finishes the form and pulls it out. There's a knock at the door.
Come in.
The captain pushes the door and stands in the doorway with a painter workman at his side. Captain.
Pardon us. We'll have some business to take care of.
As always, the captain clenches his jaw. Somerset lines a new form in a typewriter, begins typing. The captain strolls in. Two boxes sit on the floor with Detective Mills written across them. He picks up one of the boxes and sets it on top of the other. At the open door, the workman takes a razor blade from his kit. He brings it against the writing on the glass of the door, Detective Somerset. The workman pushes the razor to start scraping the name away, and the razor on glass sounds like fingernails on a blackboard. Somerset looks up.
Sorry.
Somerset turns back to the typing Hunt and Peck. The captain watches. The workman continues.
Haven't you heard?
No, I haven't heard.
Somerset just keeps typing.
Eli Gould was found murdered.
Somerset stops, looks at the captain.
Someone broke into his law office and bled him to death. Wrote the word "agreed" on his ceiling in his blood.
Agreed?
Yeah, Mills is heading the investigation.
Somerset thinks about this, then turns to type.
I'm sure everyone's doing their best.
Yep.
Hunt and Peck. The captain's jaws clamp. He starts to straighten two piles of forms on Somerset's desk.
What are you doing with yourself out there, Somerset?
Got a job? Maybe on a farm. I'll work on the house.
Can't you feel it yet? Can't you feel that feeling? You're not going to be a cop anymore.
But That's the whole point.
Come on, you're not leaving.
Somerset reclines, facing the captain.
Man is walking his dog at night. He's attacked. His wallet and his watch are taken. While he's lying unconscious, his attacker stabs him with a knife in both eyes. That happened last night, 4 blocks from here.
I read about it.
I have no understanding of this place anymore.
It's always been like this.
Really?
Somerset saddles up to the typewriter.
Maybe you're right.
The captain lays the paperwork down. Both piles are now neat.
You do this work. You were made for it. And I don't think you can deny that. I certainly can't believe that you're trading it for a tool belt and a fishing rod. Maybe I'm wrong.
He takes a jar from his pocket. Inside are small pieces of blue plastic, curled slightly as if they are scrapings.
This is for you. The coroner found them in the fat man's stomach, in with the food. Looks like little pieces of plastic.
Thank you. Put him there.
The captain puts the jar down on the desk, walks to the door.
They were fed to him.
The captain leaves. Somerset looks up. He picks up the jar. He looks in at the plastic pieces, shakes it. Somerset gets up and heads to leave, passing the workman who has a rag in his hand to remove the last remnants of Somerset's name.
Try putting a little more elbow grease into it.
The workman is startled. Somerset heads down the hall. Interior apartment building, hallway day. The door to the apartment where the fat man was found murdered. Somerset uses his switchblade to cut the crime scene tape, sealing the scene of the door. He enters. Interior apartment kitchen, day. The room where the obese corpse was found. Somerset flicks the light and gets fluorescent light. The place has been dusted. Somerset takes the jar from his pocket, looking around. He looks to the ceiling, walks around the kitchen table. He looks at the floor, and then holds up the jar for study. He gets down, holds the jar against the linoleum. Blue, like the plastic scrapings. Same color and texture. Somerset shakes his head, finding this strange. On his hands and knees, he searches the surface of the floor, examining every nick. Somerset stops. There are deep scratches here. He fingers the grooves, then takes a piece of the plastic from the jar. He holds the piece to the floor, fiddles, fits it into the scratch. Somerset stands looking down. These scratches are in front of the refrigerator, like they were caused by the refrigerator having been pulled away from the wall and pushed back into place. Somerset grips the refrigerator, pulling it. It isn't easy. He has to shift it a little at a time, rocking it back and forth. The refrigerator is coming forward. Sweat forms on Somerset's face as he finally pushes from the side of his refrigerator, clearing a way for a view of the wall behind. Somerset leans to look, numbed by what he sees.
Oh, Lord.
There is a space on the wall where dust has been wiped away. In that space, the word gluttony. The letters have been smeared on in grease. A handwritten note is pinned beside them. Interior Precinct House, Homicide Bullpen Day. A busy, tight room with cubicles along the walls and desks crowded in the center. Somerset reads the note, which is sealed inside an evidence bag.
Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light.
Somerset looks up. Mills is at one cluttered desk. The captain stands near. The captain shrugs at Somerset.
And
There are 7 deadly sins.
Somerset takes an 8x10 from behind the bagged note, holds it up. The photo shows gluttony written on the wall.
Gluttony?
Somerset steps to Mill's desk, covered in photos from the greed case, law office, bloody floor, naked man, and picks up one of Mill's photos. It shows the word greed written in blood on the ceiling. Somerset holds up greed beside gluttony.
Greed, wrath, envy, sloth, pride, lust. 7.
Somerset puts the 2 photos in the note on Mill's desk. Mills looks to Somerset, then picks them up and studies them. Somerset heads out. A phone rings and the captain grabs it.
hold on, Somerset. I'll get back to you.
The captain hangs up, looks to Somerset in the doorway.
Look, Somerset.
Oh, he wanted it. Look, I can't have anything to do with this.
The captain stares at Somerset, who waits in the doorway.
I'm on it.
The captain looks to Mills, then finally motions for Somerset to go. He does, and the door shuts. Interior Somerset's apartment living room, late night. There is a dartboard on the wall. Thwack! Somerset's switchblade hits the board and embeds. Somerset crosses the nearly empty living room and takes the blade from the dartboard. He walks back to stand in front of the only chair in the room. He throws the switchblade. It embeds in the dartboard. Somerset sits. He picks a book off the floor and holds it in his lap. Kids can be heard cursing and playing loud music from outside the shuttered window. Somerset stares at the ceiling. He opens the book and looks at the pages, stares at the pages. He puts the book back down on the floor. Exterior city street, late night. Somerset gets out of his car. He walks down the sidewalk with a notebook in hand. Thunder is heard. He takes a cigarette out of a full pack and lights it. He walks along the avenue. Cars race by in the street. People walk briskly by. At the public phone, a man shouts curses angrily into the phone, then starts pounding the phone box with the receiver. A fire engine passes in the street, sirens, horn, and lights going full blast. Somerset starts up a flight of massive stone stairs past several sleeping vagrants. One vagrant sits up and looks to Somerset.
Spare me a cigarette? Spare a cigarette?
Sorry, last one.
Ahead of Somerset, the library looms, a powerful structure. Interior Public Library, main library, late night. Somerset and George, 62, the night guard, enter the vast deserted main library. Lamps above give off a warm, pleasant glow over mahogany tables and chairs. To each side of this center area are tall bookshelves. Balconies surround the room, overlooking the center. Somerset is happy. This is his element, this peaceful, elegant place. George motions to the long, empty tables.
Sit where you'd like.
Thanks, George.
Hey there, Smiley.
Somerset looks up to the top balcony where two other security guards and one janitor look over the banister.
Evening.
They all say their hellos.
Come on, George. Cards are getting cold.
Duty calls.
George pumps Somerset's hand, then moves to the stairwell leading to the balconies. Somerset walks down the main aisle, looks around at the shelves and shelves of books. George reaches the top balcony, and the others sit at the card table where poker game is in progress. Somerset puts his notebook down on one table and switches on a green banker's lamp. Thunder sounds. Somerset looks up. Rain is beginning to fall in the windows of the high ceiling.
All these books, gentlemen. A world of knowledge at your disposal, and you play poker all night.
Up on the balcony, George has taken a huge boombox from a broom closet.
We got culture.
Yeah, we got culture coming out of our ass.
They laugh. George sets the boombox against the railing of the balcony so the speakers face towards Somerset. Down on the main floor, Somerset has gone into one bookshelf aisle. Poker table conversations echo from above. Somerset searches books, reading spines. He finds one book and pulls it, continues searching. Up on the balcony, George hits play on the boombox and turns the volume way up.
How's this for culture?
Down on the main floor, Somerset keeps looking for books. From far away come the strains of Mozart music filling the air. High drifting music such as Air on the G string. Somerset stops, listens. He closes his eyes and soaks it in. Up on the balcony, Somerset crosses out gluttony and greed. He takes a book off the pile and opens it. Turns pages. He moves his eyes move across the words, reading. Interior Mills apartment, bedroom, living room, night. Mills looks tired. He's reading. Music continues uninterrupted over the scene. Music so pretty, it is almost sad. He's seated at a desk, sorting through paperwork and photos. A basketball game is on the television, but he pays it no mind. He sits forward, obviously frustrated, drinks coffee. He does not know Tracy is there, standing in the bedroom doorway behind him. She's dressed in a nightgown. Tracy watches her husband, concerned. Interior Public Library, main library, night. Music continues. A book lies open to this page. The Earthly Paradise, Purgatory Proper. Somerset's hands close the book. Dante's Purgatory, Volume 2, off the Divine Comedy. Nearby, Somerset writes in his notebook. You may want to look at the following books relating to 7 deadly sins: Dante's Purgatory, the Canterbury Tales, the Parson's Tale, Dictionary of Catholicism. Somerset's hands tear the notebook page out. They fold it and place it in an envelope. Somerset writes on the envelope, Mills. Interior Precinct House, Somerset Office, night. Somerset's hands place the Mills envelope on a desktop. A light goes out. The office is dark. Somerset exits. Wednesday. Interior upscale building stairwell, morning. The door into the ugly stairwell bangs open and a reporter and cameraman run in, hurrying to the stairs. The cameraman turns on his bright floodlight. A commotion echoes from above. Mills enters from the same door in no hurry, looking haggard. Mills climbs the stairs up a few floors. Ahead of him, there's a crowded, frantic press conference of sorts taking place on a landing. Reporters and camera people jockey for positions around Martin Talbot, 47, a smartly dressed, impressive figure with a gold tooth in front of his mouth. Flashbulbs flash. Talbot tries to quell overlapping questions.
One at a time, please. One at a time. You there.
Mills has to squeeze through the crush of bodies.
Mr. Talbot, can you confirm any of the rumors that Mr. Gould was forced to mutilate himself?
I can't address any of the specifics while the investigation is still ongoing. Weren't you listening when I said that before?
Mills gets past, moving on. Questions are shouted at Talbot. One newswoman with a mini recorder breaks off from the group to follow Mills.
Detective, can I have a moment of your time?
No.
Mills keeps going. The woman watches him, looks back to Talbot and decides he's more important, hurrying back down. Follow Mills. He pushes through another door into upscale building, service area, morning. A dark physical plant room. Mills crosses past humming air conditioning units, dripping pipes, and janitorial lockers to a door. Interior upscale building, office corridor, morning. Mills comes out the service area door into a bright, ritzy hallway. This hall and the doors along it reek of money. A few cops and rent-a-cops all stand around near a portion of the hall that's been blocked off by a police line sawhorse. Mills passes, nodding to the cops. He heads left into another hall, around a corner through an open door, and into a boardroom. Several forensics sort and label plastic bags of evidence spread out across the vast meeting table. A photographer loads equipment. Mills crosses to an adjoining kitchenette. Other cops brush past on their way out. The kitchenette leads to a small secretarial office. Mills moves into a huge mahogany door into law office, morning. Mills enters. Huge law office with windows overlooking the wet city. TV in a corner shows the news. Two whispering forensics are on ladders, dusting for prints around the word greed on the ceiling in blood.
Yeah, gonna screw it up, I swear. Fucking kid. Can't be even more than...
The other forensic clears his throat, getting back to work. Forensic 1 shuts up. Mills notices this, weary.
How's it coming?
Nothing yet, boss.
Mills watches them a moment, then turns his attention to another part of the office. He walks. A leather chair sits in an open area. The chair and the carpet under it are covered in lots of brown, dried blood. There is a trail of dripped blood from the chair to a big desk in front of a large abstract modern art painting on the wall. On a cleared off section of the desk, a two-armed counterbalanced scale sits, also blood-stained. The desk has been dusted. Mills stands staring at this. The television is heard.
Going cut live to downtown, where defense attorney Eli Gould was found murdered in his office early Tuesday morning. District Attorney Martin Talbot is now taking questions from reporters.
On TV, Talbot comes on screen. It's from the stairwell.
A conflict of interest here. I mean, your prosecutors have lost more than a few high-profile cases to Mr. Gould, and his defense team is really...
Hey, now that's ridiculous to the point of being offensive. There's no conflict whatsoever, and any claims that there would be or could be is irresponsible.
Other reporters begin to shout questions, but Talbot's not done.
Now, hold on. I want to address that. I've just come from a meeting with law enforcement officials, and they've assured me they put their best people on this thing.
Mills turns to look at Talbot on the screen.
This will be the very definition of swift justice.
Mills walks to turn the TV off.
Shut the fuck up.
He turns and looks to see the forensics looking at him. The forensics look away. Mills walks away from the TV towards a picture frame on the floor. The frame has been placed specifically in the center of the room, facing the main doors. It is a photo of a falsely pretty middle-aged woman, smiling and wearing pearls. On the glass of the frame, 2 circles have been drawn with blood around the woman's eyes. Mills sits on the floor. He stares at the photo. Interior Mills' car, morning. Mills gets in and slams the door. He is alone with the sound of the rain. He wipes water from his face and looks at the tired eyes in the rearview mirror. He leans over to the glove compartment and takes out 2 newly purchased paperbacks, The Canterbury Tales and Dante's Purgatory. Mills makes a face and opens Dante's Purgatory to a bookmark. He rests the book on the steering wheel and reads. He bites his lip, leaning close to the words. He's really concentrating, mouths some of them to himself. He finally shakes his head and closes the book, not understanding a word. Pause. He starts pounding the book against the steering wheel with all his might.
Fucking Dante, goddamn poetry writing motherfucker.
Mills throws the book against the windshield, then puts his head back and closes his eyes, trying to calm. A long moment, quiet. Bang, bang, bang. There's a loud banging on the window and Mills looks up, startled. A tall cop is up the window in rain gear. Mills rolls it down. Tall cop hands a wet paper bag through.
Good work, officer, good work.
Mills rolls the window up, rips open the bag. Inside, cliff notes for Dante's Purgatory and for the Canterbury Tables.
Thank God.
Interior Precinct House, Somerset's office, day. It still rains outside. Somerset sits filling out forms by hand. There's a second smaller desk nearby. Mills enters with a ton of his own paperwork, stopping to notice Detective Mills painted on the door. Somerset looks up.
Oh, let me get this out of your way.
Mills sets the paperwork on the desk. He is beat. Somerset moves to the smaller temporary desk. They both sit and settle in, organizing, not looking at each other. Both attend to their work. Here are 2 men about 5 feet apart, each trying not to acknowledge the other's presence. Mills takes his cliff notes out, looks to see Somerset is occupied, and hides them in a desk drawer. Somerset finishes one form, flips it, and looks at Mills. Mills sorts through photos from the Greed murder. Somerset continues writing. Phone rings. Both men look at it. Phone rings again.
Package deal. You get the phone with the office.
Detective Mills. Honey, hi, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Well, didn't I ask you not to call me here? I'm working. What? Why?
Mills is very confused.
Why? Okay, hold on.
Mills clears his throat and holds out the phone to Somerset.
It's my wife.
What?
Mills shrugs. Somerset stands, takes the phone.
Hello? Well, listen, it's nice to speak to you. Well, I appreciate the thought, but I guess I'd be delighted. Thank you very much. Yes. Goodbye.
Somerset hangs up, shakes his head.
Well,
I'm invited to have a late supper at your house, and I accept it
how's that?
tonight.
Mills is lost. Somerset goes to sit back down.
I don't even know if I'm having dinner there tonight.
Interior Mills apartment, living room, kitchen at night. Food is cooking on the stove. Tracy is in the living room area, carefully setting the table with good silver and china. The door is heard opening and closing. Mills and Somerset come down a short hall. Mills carries a brand new briefcase.
Hello, men. You made it.
Hi, honey.
Mills gives Tracy a kiss, then presents Somerset.
I'd like you to meet Somerset.
Hello.
Somerset shakes Tracy's hand lightly.
It's nice to meet you. My husband has told me a lot about you, except your first name.
Oh, William.
Oh, it's a nice name, William. I'd like you to meet David. David. William.
Mills smiles and nods us off, heading across the room.
Great. I'm just gonna put these things away.
Mills moves to an adjoining room. As soon as he opens the door, his dogs are barking. Mills has to block their escape with his body. He greets them with kissing sounds as he shuts the door. Somerset stands with his hands folded in front of him.
Smells good.
Oh, yes. I mean, thank you. Please sit down.
Somerset takes off his jacket. Tracy goes to check on the food.
You can put that over on the couch. You'll have to excuse all of the mess. We're still unpacking.
Somerset notices something on Mill's desk. It's a medal in a small, clear case amongst the papers and pens.
Hey, you two were high school sweethearts.
High school and college, yes. Pretty hokey, huh? I mean, I knew on our first date this was the man I was going to marry. God, ugh. He was the funniest guy I'd ever met.
Really?
Somerset has to think about that one for a second. He picks the medal up, a medal for valor from the police department.
Well, it's rare these days. That kind of commitment.
He puts the medal down. Tracy is looking at the gun strapped under Somerset's arm as Somerset starts to unstrap it.
Don't worry. I won't wear it at the dinner table.
No matter how often I see guns, I still can't get used to them.
Somerset lays the gun on his jacket.
Same here.
Tracy smiles. Somerset goes to the table and transfers a small notebook from his breast pocket to his pants pocket. A piece of paper falls to the floor, closer to Tracy.
Anyway, what girl wouldn't want the captain of the football team as their lifetime mate? Oh, here, you drop this.
Tracy picks it up. It is a pale paper rose. She looks at it and she hands it back to Somerset, who is self-conscious.
What is that?
Somerset looks at the rose and puts it away.
My future.
Tracy tilts her head, looking at Somerset.
You have a strange way about you. I mean, interesting. God, I'm sorry. It's really none of my business. It's nice to meet a man who talks like this. If David saw that paper, he'd say you're gay, and that's just how he is.
Well, I guess I won't be showing it to him then.
Interior Mills apartment, living room, later night. A record player on a moving box plays quiet music. Tracy, Mills, and Somerset are eating. Mills has a beeper beside his plate and occasionally fingers it absently.
Why aren't you married, William?
Tracy, what the hell?
Somerset pokes at his napkin, thinking.
I was close once. Just didn't happen.
It surprises me. It really does.
Any person who spends a significant amount of time with me finds me disagreeable. Just ask your husband.
Very true.
Mills grins, but he means it.
How long have you lived here?
Too long. How do you like it?
Tracy glances immediately to Mills.
It takes time to settle in.
Somerset can see it's a sore subject.
Well, you get numb to it pretty quickly. There are things in any city.
A low rumbling is heard. Plates on the table begin to clatter.
Subway train.
The dishes clatter more. Coffee cups clink against their saucers. Tracy holds her coffee cup to stop it and smiles at Somerset to act like it's nothing. But she is clearly bothered.
It'll go away in a minute.
They wait. The rumbling grows louder, knocks something over in the sink. The dogs are heard whining and howling from the other room. Somerset continues eating, fiddling with his food. The record player skips, then plays on. The clattering begins to die down. The dog's quiet. Mills seems uncomfortable.
This real estate guy, this miserable fuck, he brought us to see this place a few times. And first, I'm thinking he's good, really efficient. But then I started wondering, why does he keep hurrying us along? Why will he only show us this place for like 5 minutes at a time?
Mills laughs lamely.
We found out the first night.
Somerset tries to stay straight, but he can't stop laughing.
The soothing, relaxing, vibrating. Oh, sorry.
He laughs harder, covering his mouth. Tracy and Mills laugh.
Oh, fuck.
Interior Mills apartment, living room, later night. The record player plays another album. Tracy brings over a pot of coffee and pours. Mills and Somerset have beers.
I don't think I have ever met anyone who doesn't have a television before. That's weird.
It's un-American is what it is.
All television does is teach children that it's okay to be stupid and eat candy bars all day.
What about sports?
What about them?
Tracy brings over a plate of cookies and puts it on the table.
You go to movies at least?
I read.
I just have to say, I can't respect any man who's never seen Green Acres.
Somerset gives a blank stare. Tracy walks across the room.
You've never seen The Odd Couple. This is sick. The Honeymooners.
I vaguely recall a large, angry man named Norton.
Tracy turns the record player down further, then goes into a bedroom and shuts the door behind her. Somerset and Mills look at the closed door. A long moment. They look at each other, then sit for a time. Somerset puts down his beer, sighs, looks around. Interior Mills apartment living room later night. The living room table has been cleared and is now covered with various reports and 8x10 photographs. Mills and Somerset are both standing. Mills guides Somerset through the photos.
Our guy got into the office probably before the building closed and security tightened up. Gould must have been working late.
I'm certain. He was the biggest defense lawyer around. Infamous, actually.
Well, his body was found Tuesday morning, okay? But get this. The office was closed all day Monday. Which means as long as the gluttony killing was done before the weekend, our killer could have gotten in here Friday. He could have spent all day Saturday with Gould, and Sunday, and maybe even Monday.
Mills picks up one photo and shows it to Somerset. Long shot. It shows the Greed murder scene. Gould sits dead in the leather chair near the desk where the counterbalance scale sits.
Gould was tied down nude. The killer left his arms free and handed him a big sharp butcher's knife. See? The scale here.
Mills pulls another photo, close up, the two-armed scale. In one suspended plate is 1 pound weight. In the other is a hunk of flesh.
Pound of flesh.
Mills digs, comes up with a photocopy of a hand-scrawled note.
1 pound of flesh, no more, no less. No cartilage, no bone, but only flesh. This task done, and he would go free.
Mills takes out one photo showing the note pinned to the wall.
The leather chair was soaked through with sweat.
All day Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Killer would want Gould to take his time, to have to sit there and decide where to make the first cut. There's a gun in your face. What part of your body is expendable?
He cut along the side of his stomach, the love handle.
Somerset begins spreading the photos out in front of him.
All right, look at these with fresh eyes. Don't let the killer guide you.
As he speaks, Somerset keeps shifting the photos, covering the corpse in one with the edge of another, editing each by overlapping with another.
Even if the corpse is right there, it's almost like looking through it, editing out the initial shot. You always have to find one singular thing to focus on. There's always one thing, and it may be as small as a speck of dust, but you find it and focus till it's an exhausted possibility.
In the photos, there's a scale, the note on the wall, shelves of books, the abstract, modern art painting, greed written in blood.
He's preaching.
Punishing.
Sins were used in medieval sermons. There were 7 cardinal virtues and 7 deadly sins created as a learning tool because they distract from true worship.
Like in the Parsons Tale on Dante.
You read them.
Yeah, well, parts of them anyway. In Purgatory, Dante and his buddy are climbing up that big mountain, seeing all these other guys who sinned.
The 7 terraces of purgation.
Right, but there, pride comes first, not gluttony. The sins are in a different order.
For now, just consider the books as the murderer's inspiration. The books and the sermons are about atonement for sin. And these murders have been like forced attrition.
Forced what?
Attrition. When you regret your sins, but not because you love God.
Like because someone's holding a gun on you.
Somerset stands, stretching, rolling his neck.
No fingerprints.
Nothing.
Totally unrelated victims.
Mills nods, drinking from a beer.
No witnesses of any kind.
Which I don't understand. He had to get back out.
In any major city, minding your own business is a science. In crime prevention classes, the first thing they teach you is that you should never cry for help. Always scream fire. People don't answer to help, but fire, that's entertainment. They come running.
Somerset sits, turning his attention back to the phone.
Must have left another puzzle piece.
Look, I appreciate being able to talk this out, but
This is just to satisfy my curiosity. I'm still leaving at the end of the week.
Mills is very tired. He rubs his eyes, then walks to take one more photo from his briefcase. It is the photo of the framed picture of the falsely pretty woman with her eyes circled in blood.
Gould's wife, she was out of town. If this means she saw anything, I don't know what. We've questioned her at least 5 times.
And if it's a threat,
We put her in a safe house.
Somerset nods. The subway train is heard rumbling off screen. The apartment begins to shake again from the train below. Mills runs his hands across his face, walks to the fridge to get a beer. Somerset stays focused on the photo of the wife. His coffee cup rattles a bit in its saucer and he reaches to steady it without looking. After a moment, the rumbling lessens. Somerset runs his fingers over the eyes circled in blood, looking at the wife's photo.
what if it's not that she's seen something? What if it's she's supposed to see something, but she hasn't been given a chance to see it yet?
Okay, but what?
Exterior safe house night. A grim motel with a broken neon and a promise of free HBO in every room. Somerset's car pulls up. Mills and Somerset get out carrying file folders. They move to the entrance. Interior safe house hallway night. A poorly maintained elevator door opens partially, then freezes up with a squeak. Mills squeezes out, followed by Somerset. They head down the hall where a policeman sits in the chair, bouncing a rubber ball off the floor and the wall and catching it. The policeman looks up at the detectives, doesn't seem to care who they are. Mills shows his badge.
Yeah, we're here to talk to Mrs. Gould.
The policeman picks up a clipboard and hands it to Mills. Mills signs in. Somerset goes to knock on the room's door.
Mrs. Gould?
No reply. Somerset knocks a bit louder, opens the door a crack. He enters, clearing his throat.
Excuse me. Mrs. Gould.
Mills comes to enter with Somerset, shuts the door. Interior safe house night. Bad room. Plain with water-spotted walls. Mills stands beside the woman from the picture, Mrs. Gould, shows her photos from the murder scene. The photos have been covered in sections to hide Mr. Gould's corpse. Mrs. Gould is crying. Somerset is on the side of the room, holding more photos.
I'm sorry about this, I really am.
I don't understand.
Mills helps her flip through the photos. He isn't too keen on to put her through this. Every once in a while, you can hear the clunk of the policeman bouncing the ball in the hall.
I need you to look at each one carefully, very carefully. Look for anything that seems strange or out of place, anything at all.
I don't know why. Why now?
Please, I need you to help me if we're going to get who did this.
Mrs. Gould sobs quietly, wipes her tears.
Anything missing or different.
I don't see anything.
Are you absolutely certain?
I can't do this now, please.
Mills looks to Somerset, looks at the photos Somerset holds.
Maybe we better wait.
Somerset looks at the photos in his hand. These show Mr. Gould's corpse in a chair, not covered in any way.
Should be now. There may be something we're not seeing.
Wait, here.
What is it?
Mrs. Gould points at the modern art painting on the wall in one of the photos. The painting is just splattered paint, abstract.
This painting.
What?
Why is this painting hanging upside down?
Mills turns to look to Somerset. Interior law office night. The Greed murder site. Somerset, wearing gloves, reaches to take the modern art painting off the wall. Mills is near, watching.
Are you sure your men didn't move this?
Even if they did, those photos were taken before forensics.
Nothing on the wall behind the painting. Blank space.
Nothing.
Gotta be.
Somerset puts the painting down, resting it on its bottom edge. It's backed by a sheet of brown paper stapled onto the frame. Somerset points to where the wire's eye screws used to be screwed into the frame, and to where they have been re-screwed.
Change the wire to rehang it.
Somerset takes out his switchblade. Mills is surprised.
What the fuck is that?
Switchblade.
Somerset cuts along the edge of the brown paper to get the hollow space at the back of the canvas. He cuts out the entire sheet. Mills helps pull it away. Nothing. Empty. Mills looks at both sides of the paper, then tosses it.
Nothing. Damn it.
Somerset lays the painting face up on the floor. He pokes his finger on the painted surface. He brings the flat of his blade against it, tries to peel some of the paint.
The killer didn't paint the fucking thing. Give it up.
Somerset pushes the painting away, frustrated.
There must be something.
We're screwed. He's fucking with us.
Somerset backs away from the wall, staring at the space where the painting hung. There is only a nail. He turns, looking around the office, then crosses. Mills puts his hands to his temples, furious. He picks up a lamp and throws it to the floor, venting.
Motherfucker.
Somerset falls to his knees and pulls open a forensics kit. He takes out a fingerprint brush, examines bristles. Mills sees.
What?
Bear with me.
Somerset goes back to the wall where the painting was. He pulls over a chair, gets on it, and starts brushing near the nail.
Oh, yeah, sure. You gotta be kidding.
Just wait.
Somerset brushes with a few wider strokes. He leans close, studies the powder residue, leans closer still, pause.
Call the print lab.
Interior Mills apartment bedroom night. Tracy's asleep, dressed with the lights still on. She stirs, then wakens and sits up slowly. She squints from the light, sweaty and uncomfortable. She looks around and listens. All she hears is traffic. Exterior Mills apartment living room night. From outside, looking into the apartment, we see Tracy come in from the bedroom. She sees Mills and Somerset are gone. She comes to a window, then moves to the kitchen area. We're still looking in at her as she starts the dishes in the sink. The rumbling of a subway train is heard. The room begins to rattle as before. The dogs are heard whining. Tracy looks out to the living room, ill at ease. Interior law office night. The male forensic from the gluttony murder scene is here. He has a magnifying glass, which he's using to study a very clear fingerprint in black powder on the wall.
Whoa, man.
Talk to me.
The male forensic bites his lip, still studying. Mills and Somerset are watching the forensic who works off screen.
Just honestly, have you ever seen anything like this? Been involved in anything like this?
No.
Well, I can tell you, boys.
The forensic steps down from a stool. Behind him, where the painting once was, are fingerprints, clear and distinct. The prints have been left to form letters, which form words. Help me.
Just by looking at the shape of the underloop of these, they are not the victim's fingerprints.
Interior precinct house print lab night. Dark. A technician sits before an old computer. The computer's green screen shows enlarged fingerprint patterns being aligned, compared, and rejected. Whir, click, whir, click, whir, click. Mills and Somerset watch, bathed in a green glow.
He just may be nuts enough.
It doesn't fit. He doesn't want us to help him stop.
Well, who the hell knows? There's plenty of freaks out there doing dirty deeds they don't want to do. You know, little voices tell them bad things.
Somerset doesn't buy it. The technician adjusts a knob, then turns to the detectives.
I didn't understand this. Oh, I've seen this baby take as long as 3 days to make a match. So you guys can go cross your fingers somewhere else.
Interior precinct house hallway night. Somerset and Mills come out from the print lab. A janitor is mopping the hall. The computer is heard whirring and clicking onwards. Somerset sits with a groan on a couch outside the lab door. Mill flops beside him.
You meant what you said to Mrs. Gould, didn't you? About catching this guy.
And you don't?
I wish I still thought like you did.
Well, then you tell me what you think we're doing.
We pick up the pieces. We take all the evidence, all the pictures and samples. We write everything down and note what time things happened.
That's all.
Put it in a nice, neat pile and file it away on the slim chance that it's ever needed in a courtroom. Like collecting diamonds on a desert island. You keep them just in case you ever get rescued. It's a pretty big ocean out there.
Bullshit.
Even the most promising clues usually lead to only other clues. I've seen so many corpses rolled away, unrevenged.
Well, I've seen the same. I'm not the country hick you seem to think I am. Don't tell me you didn't get that rush tonight, that adrenaline like we were getting somewhere.
Somerset slumps back, takes out a cigarette and lights it.
And don't try to tell me it was because we found something that might play well in a courtroom.
Mills sits back on the couch, closes his eyes and crosses his arms to sleep. Somerset looks at him. Somerset puffs the cigarette. The computer is heard. Whir, click, whir, click. Thursday. Precinct House hallway, early morning. Mills and Somerset are fast asleep on the couch, leaning against each other. People pass and look at them strangely. A man steps in front of the couch. He reaches with both hands to slap their faces simultaneously. It's the captain leaning over them.
Wake up, Glimmer Twins. We have a winner.
Interior Precinct House hallways, early morning. The captain moves down the hall, passing photocopied mugshots over his shoulder to 5 hardened police officers who follow, 4 men and 1 woman. The officers check their guns and secured bulletproof vests with police spray painted across them.
He goes by the name Victor. His real name, Theodore Allen. His prints were found at the scene by homicide.
Somerset and Mills follow behind, drinking coffee, still waking up. The mugshots show a man, Victor, 25.
This guy has a long history of serious mental illness. His parents gave him a very strict Southern Baptist upbringing. But somewhere along the line,
2 of the cops are talking.
2, you can shut up now.
The 2 cops face front like huge, embarrassed school children.
Thank you, fuckheads. Now, Victor dabbled in drugs, armed robbery, and assault. Spent a couple months in prison for the attempted rape of an underage boy. But his lawyer made sure he didn't stay. That lawyer is the recently deceased Eli Gould, the Greed murder victim.
This news causes excited chatter amongst the cops.
We're finishing this today, ladies and germs. Victor's been out of circulation and a while. But there's a residence still in his name. A search warrant has been pushed through the courts as we speak.
A red-headed cop, California, leads the officers.
So, we have housing cops walk up and ring the doorbell.
Listen, California, the media swarms are going to be within there in 45 minutes. If there are shots fired, they'll be there in 10. So you better make good. Headlines, not obituaries.
Mills looks to Somerset while the captain continues the briefing.
Does this do it for you?
Doesn't seem like our man, does it?
Well, you tell me. I'm new in town.
Our killer seems to have more purpose.
The fingerprints.
Yes. They were there. So it must be.
We'll tag along.
Somerset wants no part of that.
Why would we?
Satisfy our curiosity.
Interior Mills' car, morning. Mills drives, follows a police van. He seems pumped and ready. Somerset takes 2 Rolaids off a fresh roll and chews them.
You ever take one?
Somerset takes out his gun, opens it to check the load.
Never in my 34 years, knock on wood. Only ever taken my gun out 5 times with the actual intention of using it. Never fired it though. Not once. You?
Never took a bullet. I pulled my gun once, fired it once.
And?
It was my first one of these. We were a secondary unit. I was pretty shaky going in. I was still a rookie.
Mills takes a corner, tires screeching.
We busted the door looking for this junkie, right? The geek just opened fire. Another cop was hit in the arm and he went flying like in slow motion. I remember riding in the ambulance. His arm was jello, a piece of meat. He bled to death right there.
How did it end?
I got him. I got that son of a bitch. I was doing really good up till then. Lots of street busts. I've always had this weird luck. Everything always went my way, but this was wild. I got him with 1 shot, right between the eyes. Next thing I know, the mayor's pinning a medal on me. Picture in the paper, whole 9 yards.
Somerset unrolls the window, feels the air across his face.
How was it?
I expected it to be bad, you know. I took a human life. But I slept like a baby that night. I never gave it a second thought.
I think Hemingway wrote somewhere, I can't remember where, but he wrote that in order to live in a place like this, you have to have the ability to kill. I think that he meant that you truly must be able to do it, not just faking it to survive.
Sounds like he knew what he was talking about.
Exterior slum building, morning. Police cars jump onto the sidewalk, halting near the towering tenement's entrance. The van and Mills' car continue past, around the rear of the tenement. The police van makes a corner, roaring towards the back entrance and screeching to a stop. Mills' car stops behind. Mills and Somerset get out. Cops pour from the van. Interior slum building, stairwell, morning. The 5 cops from the briefing, fully geared up and ready, rifles and handguns out, move quickly up the stairs in single file. Somerset and Mills follow, guns out. Somerset is sweating bullets. Mills is wide-eyed, juiced. Crack vials and hypodermic needles on the stairs crunch under the cops' heavy boots. Interior slum hallway, morning. The cops enter the dank hall. They move cautiously. A man is lying on the floor looking up, helpless with dead eyes. A door opens and a woman peeks out. The female cops point her gun at the door and the door slams. California, leading the group, steps up to apartment 303. He has a search warrant scotch taped to the front of his bulletproof vest.
This is it. Give it up.
The black cop hoists a heavy battering ram to California. The other cops get on both sides of the door. Somerset and Mills hang back a few feet, watching their backs.
Cops before dicks.
Many people are sticking their heads out of the doors in the hall.
Police, open the door.
California brings the ram toward with a splintering thud. Once, twice, the door flies open. The cops storm in. Interior slum apartment, main room, morning. The apartment is incredibly dusty. The cops charge down the short hall into this room where a bed sits against the far wall. California moves up to the bed. Someone lies under the sheets. 3 other cops move in, all training their weapon on the bed.
Good morning, sweetheart.
A blonde cop goes into another room. California moves closer to the bed, gun up.
Get up. Now, motherfucker, now.
Interior slum apartment, adjoining room, morning. The blonde cop enters, gun trained, looks around in confusion. The room's tables, chairs, and floor are covered in hundreds of colorful plastic air fresheners. Interior slum apartment, main room, morning. Mills and Somerset enter. Somerset looks at the cops around the bed, then looks at a nearby wall. His mouth drops in horror. On the wall, written in excrement, sloth.
Jesus.
California kicks the bed, enraged.
Said get up, sleepyhead.
He pulls the sheets off the bed and reveals the shriveled, sore-covered form of a man who is blindfolded and tied to the bed with a thin wire, which has been wrapped time and time again around the mattress and bed frame. Tubes run out from a strained loincloth around the man's waist and snake under the bed.
Fuck me.
Mills pushes past the other cops.
Holy shit.
The cops recoil from the stench. Somerset steps up, putting his gun away.
Victor?
What the hell?
Check this out, Dick.
California points with his gun to the end of the man's right arm. The hand is gone, severed with the wrist long ago.
It is Victor.
Call an ambulance.
The blonde cop enters from the other room. Mute.
What the fuck is this?
Somebody call a hearse more like.
The female cop has gone to one wall where the sheet is pinned up. She pulls the sheet down. Pinned behind the sheet are 52 Polaroid pictures, all pictures of Victor tied to the bed, with a date written at the bottom of each picture. It is a visual history of Victor's physical decay.
What is going on?
Mills sees the female cop looking at the pictures.
Hey, California, get your people out.
Somerset takes out rubber gloves and puts them on.
You heard him. Hit the hall and don't touch anything.
Somerset replaces the sheet over Victor, but not over his head. The cops file out and Mills goes to examine the pictures. California stays by the bed with Somerset.
It looks like he's some kind of friggin' wax sculpture or something.
Somerset places his finger along Victor's throat.
Somerset, you better look here.
Mills looks at the photos in awe. Somerset joins him.
All pictures of Victor tied to the bed. The last one is dated 3 days ago.
Somerset looks at the first photo. In it, Victor is bound and gagged, but he is healthy.
First one. Dated 1 year ago to the day.
Somerset wipes his sweaty face. California stands by the corpse, behind Somerset and Mills. He lifts the sheet on the bed to look under it.
Mother!
Mills kneels and lifts the sheet, which has covered the pictures off the floor. There is an open shoebox underneath.
What?
On the side of the box, to the world, from me. California leans close to Victor's gaunt, blindfolded face, examining with morbid curiosity.
You got what you deserved, Victor.
Somerset leans down beside Mills. Mills looks through the shoebox. Inside are plastic Ziploc bags. One contains small clumps of hair. One contains a yellow liquid.
A urine sample, a hair sample, stool sample, fingernails. He's laughing at us.
California is still close to Victor's face when Victor's lips twist open and Victor lets out a loud guttural bark. California jerks back, falling over the chair to the floor. Mills and Somerset reel. They see California on the ground, scared out of his mind, pointing.
He's alive!
Somerset and Mills look toward the bed. Victor's lips move feebly as he lets out a sick, gurgling moan.
He's still alive!
Exterior slum apartment building morning. A crowd has gathered at the entrance. Mills' car, the police van, and 2 ambulances are parked on the sidewalk. Interior slum hallway morning. The cops are in the hall holding neighbors at bay. Interior slum apartment main room morning. 3 ambulance attendants are at the bed working on Victor. 1 attendant uses wire cutters to help clip Victor's bonds. Interior slum stairwell morning. Mills and Somerset are standing in the middle of 1 flight of stairs. Both are highly agitated.
The way this has gone till now, I wouldn't have thought it was possible, but we may have underestimated this guy.
I want him bad. I don't just want to catch him anymore. I want to hurt him.
Listen to me. He's all about playing games.
No kidding. No fucking kidding.
We have to divorce ourselves from emotions here. No matter how hard it is, we have to stay focused on the details.
I don't know about you, but I feed off my emotions.
He'll string us along all the way if we're not careful.
Mills is looking at the floor, still burning. Somerset grabs him by the jacket.
Are you listening to me?
Mills pushes Somerset's hands off.
I hear you.
There is a sudden, brilliant flash of light and the sound of cameras advancing. Mills and Somerset look. Down the stairs, the reporter has his camera up, pointed at them.
Say cheese.
He takes another picture, flashbulb flashing. Mills goes down the stairs, grabs the reporter, a balding, almost silly-looking man with thick glasses and wrinkled clothing.
What the fuck are you doing here?
The reporter squirms, holds up a laminated press pass on a cord around his neck.
I'm UPI officer. I have.
Mills shoves him and the reporter stumbles a few steps, then falls to the landing below.
That doesn't mean anything. This is a closed crime scene.
Somerset comes up to pull Mills back. The shaken reporter stands.
You can't do this. You can't.
Get the fuck out of here.
The reporter scrambles down the next flight out of sight.
You'll hear from my lawyer. I've got your picture. I've got a picture of you.
Somerset yanks Mills back harder till Mills sits on the stairs.
How do these cockroaches get here so quick?
They pay cops for the inside scoop and they pay well.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's all right.
Somerset starts back up the stairs.
It's always impressive to see a man feeding off his emotions.
Interior hospital room day. Somerset and Mills are with Dr. Beardsley. Victor lies inside an oxygen tent with tubes running into him. The room is dim.
A year of immobility seems about right. Judging by the deterioration of the muscles and spine, blood tests show a whole smorgasbord of drugs in his system, from crack to heroin. Even an antibiotic must have been administered to keep the bed sores from infecting.
Mills looks into the oxygen tent.
He hasn't said anything or tried to express himself in any way?
Even if his brain were not mush, which it is, chewed off by his own tongue long ago.
Mills winces, moves away from the bed.
No way he'll survive.
Detective, he'd die right now of shock if you were to shine a flashlight in his eyes.
Silence for a moment. The doctor lets out a chuckle.
Yeah, it's funny to think he's experienced about as much pain and suffering as anyone I've encountered, give or take, and still has hell to look forward to.
He chuckles again, engrossed in some information on a clipboard. Mills looks to Somerset.
Harsh.
Interior precinct house ready room day. A blackboard written in chalk in large letters. Gluttony, greed, and sloth, 1, 2, and 3 scratched out. 4, envy. 5, wrath. 6, pride. 7, lust. This case has taken larger quarters. What looks like a classroom with chalkboards on the walls and a podium at front has been converted to office space. Many desks and folding chairs, only a few occupied. Much info taped up on the walls. Somerset and Mills are at their paperwork covered desks near a window.
Peter's landlord says an envelope of cash was in the office mailbox each month. He says, quote, I've never had a single complaint from the tenant in compartment 301, and nobody ever complained about him. He's the best tenant I've ever had.
A landlord's dream tenant, a paralyzed man with no tongue.
He pays the rent on time.
Somerset turns to the typewriter, types. Mills fills out a form by hand. He makes an error and tries to erase, but the paper rips. He curses, crumbles the paper, and throws it.
You know, I'm sick of sitting around waiting.
The job.
There must be something in this pile of garbage we can follow. I mean, Christ, do we have to let this lunatic make all the moves?
It's dismissive to call him a lunatic. Don't make that mistake.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. The guy's insane. Right now he's probably dancing around his room in a pair of his mommy's panties, singing show tunes and rubbing himself with peanut butter.
No.
Look, sooner or later his luck's gonna run out.
No. He's not depending on luck. You've seen that. We walked into that apartment exactly 1 year after he first tied Victor to the bed. To the day. To the day. Because he wanted us to.
We don't know for sure.
Yes, we do. Here,
Somerset picks up the photocopy of the first note.
this quote. His first words to us. It's Milton's Paradise Lost. Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light.
And so what?
Well, he's been right so far, hasn't he?
Look, just because the bastard has a library card doesn't make him Yoda.
Just realize the type of intestinal fortitude it must take to keep a man bound for a full year, to connect tubes to his genitals, to sever his hand and use it to plant fingerprints. He's methodical and exacting. And worst of all, he's patient.
What does all that matter anyway? It's not our job to figure him out, is it? It's our job to catch him.
Something clicks for Somerset. He looks away, thinking. Mills watches him.
What?
Somerset sits, ponders, staring off into space.
What is it?
Somerset stands back up, takes money out of his pockets.
How much money do you have?
I don't know, like 50?
Somerset picks up the phone and dials, still sifting through his own money. Mills doesn't know what's going on.
I'll propose a field trip.
Interior Public Library Day. Somerset walks through the busy main library, goes to a group of computer terminals. Mills follows, wound up. Somerset sits at one computer and works on the keyboard, Hunt and Peck.
Somerset, what the fuck?
Several people turn to shush him. Somerset takes out a notepad.
Top of the list, we'll put Purgatory, Canterbury Tales, anything related to the 7 deadly sins. Now, what the killer might research? What would he need to study to do the things he's done? What are his interests? What are his other interests? For example,
Insert computer screen. Somerset types. On the screen, search Jack the Ripper. Exterior Hot Dog World Day. The restaurant sign reads, Hot Dog World, home of the world's biggest dogs. A man is trying to give out paper advertisements. People walk out of their way to avoid him.
Take one, you stupid fucks. Here, take one. This it's a fucking a coupon. Take it, huh?
Interior Hot Dog World Day. Mills and Somerset are in a booth, both on the same seat on the same side of the table. They look over their list of books. Mills goes to eat a hot dog, but Somerset stops him.
they had about 50 health violations during the last inspection.
Mills throws the dog down, looks at his watch.
Could you at least sit across from me? I don't want people to think we're dating.
Somerset watches a greasy man wearing a black suit enter. The man's hair is slicked back.
Give me your money.
Mills hands his money to Somerset.
I'm handing you this, and for some strange reason, I have the idea I should know what the fuck we're doing.
Somerset folds the money with his own into a list of books. He holds the list under the table. Greasy man comes to sit.
Hey, Somerset. How are you? I didn't know this was going to be a menage a trois.
Not a problem.
Only for you do I do this. Big risk. Here. So I figure we'll be even up, all fair and square.
Greasy Man has his hands under the table. He gets up to leave with his hand in his pocket. He picks up Mill's dog.
About an hour.
Greasy Man leaves, eating the hot dog.
Well, that was money well spent.
Let's go.
Interior pizza parlor day. Mills and Somerset sit with a pizza before them.
By telling you this, I'm trusting you more than I trust most people.
It'd be best if you got to the point, because I'm about ready to punch you in the face.
Somerset leans closer to Mills, speaks quietly.
That's probably nothing. But even if it is, it's no skin off our teeth. Man at Hot Dog World is a friend in the Bureau.
Him?
For a long time, the FBI has been hooked into the library system, keeping accurate records.
What, assessing fines?
They monitor reading habits. Not every book, but certain ones are flagged. Books about, let's say, how to build a nuclear bomb. Maybe Mein Kampf. Whoever takes out a flagged book has their library records fed into the FBI from then on.
You gotta be kidding.
Flagged books cover every topic the Bureau deemed questionable. Communism to violent crime.
How is this legal?
Legal, illegal. These terms don't apply. I don't applaud it.
Somerset takes a bite of pizza.
They can't use the information directly, but it's a useful guide. Might sound silly, but can't get a library card without an ID and a current phone bill.
Mills is starting to warm to it.
So they run our list.
And if you want to know who's been reading Paradise Lost, Purgatory, and say the life and times of Charles Manson, Bureau's computer will tell you. It might give us a name.
Yeah. Some college student who's taking English 101 and just happens to be writing a paper on 20th century crime.
Yeah, well, at least we're out of the office. We got pizza.
How do you know about all this?
I don't. Neither do you.
Somerset looks up. Greasy Man is entering the pizza parlor. Interior Somerset's car, early evening. Dusk. The car is parked with Somerset at the wheel and Mills beside. They look through pages of connected computer paper.
This is a waste of time.
We're focusing.
I know. Focusing on one little thing.
Divine Comedy, A History of Catholicism, a book called Murderers and Madmen.
He hands the sheet to Mills. Mills looks them over.
Modern homicide investigation. In cold blood. Of human bondage. Human bondage?
Not what you think it is.
The Marquis de Sade and origins of sadism.
That is.
The writings of St. Thomas Aquin.
St. Thomas Aquinas. He wrote about the 7 deadly sins.
Interior tenement building, stairwell, hallway, early morning. Somerset and Mills walk up the stairs and turn a corner into this long hall. Somerset is looking at the computer sheets.
You're sure you're reading that right? John Doe.
That's what it says. Jonathan Doe.
This is stupid. It'd be just too easy.
We'll take a look at him. Talk to him.
Sure. Excuse me, are you by any chance a serial killer? Oh, you are? Well, come with us then, if it's okay.
They reach a door, apartment 6A. Somerset knocks.
What are you gonna say?
And we'll let that silver tongue of yours do the work.
Told you about my silver tongue. You been talking to my wife?
Mills knocks on the door hard.
This is really lame.
A creak is heard off screen. Somerset turns to look towards it. A male figure, John Doe, is standing at the stairwell, wearing a hat and standing in shadow, looking towards them, stark still. Somerset furrows his brow. The John Doe reaches into his coat, lifts his arm, pointing.
Mills!
Blam! Gunfire sounds, deafening as the bullet slams into door 6A, missing Somerset as he and Mills hit the floor. John Doe fires again. The bullet blows a huge hole in the wall, throwing plaster. A third bullet follows just above Mills and Somerset, and John Doe is heard running back down the stairs. The gunfire is still echoing, ringing as Mills gets up and unholsters his gun.
Jesus Christ.
Mills scrambles to the stairwell. In the stairwell, Mills bounds downstairs, turns a corner, and leaps down another flight. He halts on the landing, listening. John Doe can be heard still running below. In the hall above, Somerset rolls and takes out his gun. He stands dazed.
What kind of gun was it?
In the stairwell, Somerset comes into the stairwell.
Damn it, Somerset, what kind of gun? How many bullets?
Below, in the stairwell, Mills hurries down more stairs.
I don't know. Might have been a revolver.
Voices echo. Mills loses his footing, falls. Mills hits the next landing hard, dropping his gun.
Fuck.
Mills gets back up and picks up his gun and keeps going. Above, in the stairwell, Somerset runs down the stairs, breathing hard.
What's he look like?
Brown hat, tan raincoat. It's like a trench coat.
Below, in the stairwell, Mills stops, guns ready, moves to peer over the railing, down into the space at the stairwell center. John Doe is below, in shadow, aiming his gun straight up. Mills jerks back as a shot is fired from below, and the bullet is heard whizzing above. The railing near Somerset splinters into a million pieces, sends Somerset ducking for cover. Another blast from below. The bullet is heard ricocheting above. Below, Mills is crouched, waiting for the gunshot's echoes.
5. That's 5.
He leaps up and continues down the stairs. Interior tenement building, lower hallway, early evening. Mills comes down the stairs and into a hallway, falling into one knee, sliding to point his gun in one direction. Empty hallway. He wheels the other direction, gun hand shaking, catches a glimpse of John Doe just as he disappears around a corner far down the hall. Mills gets up, looking back to the number 2 by the stairs as he looks, shouting back towards the stairwell.
Second floor, second floor.
Mills sprints, follows him, tearing ass. Around the corner. Mills makes the turn, full speed ahead, bringing his gun up. Far ahead, John Doe's running. Mills takes aim. Ahead under John Doe's, between John Doe and Mills, a tenant in t-shirt and underwear comes out of an apartment, looking towards John Doe, blocking the line of fire.
Get down, move.
The tenant turns to Mills, confused. Mills pushes past. Ahead, John Doe makes an abrupt halt. A woman tenant is looking out her door and John Doe grabs her and throws her into the hall. She falls as John Doe shoves his way into her apartment. Back at the stairwell, Somerset comes down the stairs, tired. He runs around the corner in the other hallway section. Mills reaches the apartment Doe entered, bursting in. Interior tenement apartment, early evening. Mills enters, gun up. It's a railroad apartment with all the rooms adjoining a row. At the far end of the apartment, John Doe can be seen moving one room's window onto a fire escape just as the room's door is swinging shut. Mills charges through the apartment, full on. He bashes through the closed door. Exterior tenement building fire escape, early evening. Mills leans out the window over an alleyway. Blam! Gunshot. The window above Mills shatters and Mills pulls back. In the apartment, Mills stays down for a brief second.
6. That's 6.
He moves back to the window just as blam, blam, blam. 3 more bullets rattle the window and window frame. Mills recoils.
7, 8, 9. Fuck.
Out on the fire escape, Mills leans back out slowly, searching, gun up. Below, John Doe runs around a corner, gone. Mills scrambles out onto the fire escape, running a few steps, then vaulting the rail, crashing down on the roof of a car parked below. The windshield cracks. Mills jumps off and continues the pursuit. Exterior city street, early evening. Mills rounds the alleyway corner into people-packed streets. Several people are running, heading several different directions. Mills comes to a halt, his focus confused, searching desperately. Others run upon seeing his gun. Women screams and grab up their children. Mills can't see far down the sidewalk because of all the people. He moves forward. He jumps atop a fire hydrant, gripping a street sign for balance, trying to see further down the street. Mills' point of view. There he is. John Doe can be seen far off, moving across the street through traffic to the opposite sidewalk. On the street, Mills runs into traffic, avoiding cars down the center line. Angry drivers scream at him. Ahead, John Doe glances back, ducking into an alley. Mills gets to the other sidewalk, yelling for people to get out of the way. Exterior city alley, early evening. Mills comes to this tight alley. It's dark with a long, tall, vertical silver street light far ahead. Mills runs, charging onwards. A 2x4 swings out from a hidden nook along the side of the alleyway, slamming Mills in the face with a thwack. Mills' gun hits the alley wall and clatters into a puddle. Mills hits the dirt on his back, nose broken and splint, face bloodied. He cries out, rolling to his side, clutching his face. The 2x4 is dropped. John Doe's feet cross a short distance. Doe's hand reaches to pick up Mills' gun. We never see John Doe's face. Mills still lies on his side, stunned, spitting blood and cursing when he feels the barrel of his gun against the side of his face. Mills freezes. John Doe moves the gun slowly across Mills' face till the barrel reaches Mills' mouth. The barrel is inserted between his lips. The gun's hammer is pulled back. Mills quakes, tries to open his eyes, but he's blinded by the blood from his broken nose. For an instant, there is a sudden, bright flash of light. After a long moment, the gun withdraws. From off screen, the bullets fall out of Mills' gun onto his chest. The gun drops. John Doe runs out to the sliver of light. He's gone. Mills lies for a long moment, gasping. At the alley's entrance, Somerset appears.
Mills?
Mills rolls, shaken, feeling to pick up his bullets and trying to rub the blood from his eyes to the sleeve. Somerset arrives.
You all right?
I'm fine.
What happened?
Mills gets up, collects his gun, and pockets it, then walks past Somerset, heading back.
Mills.
Mills starts running. Somerset runs to follow. Interior tenement building stairwell hallway evening. Mills moves from the stairwell, driven, his nose still bleeding, heading for apartment 6A. Somerset takes Mills' arms, but Mills pulls away and keeps going.
Wait, just wait.
It was him.
You can't go in.
Somerset grabs Mills again and Mills shoves him off.
The hell I can. We get in there and we can stop him.
We need a warrant.
We have probable cause now.
Somerset grabs Mills and shoves him against the wall.
Think about it.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Think about how we got here.
Somerset holds the crumpled computer paper in Mills' face.
We can't tell anyone about this. We can't tell them about the Bureau, so we have no reason for being here.
Mills stops struggling, breathing hard, seething, trembling.
By the time we clear a warrant, someone else is going to be dead.
But think it through. If we leave a hole like this, we'll never prosecute. He'll walk. We have to come up with some excuse for knocking on this door.
Okay, get off.
Somerset releases Mills. Mills looks around the hall, then goes right to door 6A and kicks it in. The door jam splinters and the door swings open to darkness before swinging back, half shut.
You stupid son of a...
No point in arguing anymore.
Mills strides down the short end of the hall towards a window.
Unless you can fix that.
Mills stops, looking out the window. It overlooks a weedy, overgrown courtyard where a thin vagrant lies asleep on the concrete. Mills turns, looking back to Somerset.
How much money do we have left?
Interior tenement building stairwell night. On a stairwell landing, Somerset watches the thin vagrant from the courtyard talk to a uniformed policeman who writes on a clipboard, taking the statement.
So I noticed this guy going out a lot when those murders are happening. So I...
The vagrant's clinging to the rail, drunk and out of it. Mills is further down the stairs, high-strung, chomping at the bit.
So you called Detective Somerset, right?
Yeah, I called the detective because this guy seemed creepy, and one of the murders was over there, over nearby here. I called the cops.
The vagrant wipes drool from his lips. Mills comes to grip him so he doesn't fall, searching the policeman's face for suspicion.
I told you the rest. You got it?
Yeah, whatever.
Have him sign it.
The policeman holds the clipboard and pen out. Mills takes the pen and guides the vagrant's hand, almost signing it for him.
Great. Is that it?
The policeman nods. Mills grips the vagrant and leads him down the stairs in a hurry, around a bend. Mills looks up to be sure they're out of sight, takes the wad of cash, and shoves it in the vagrant's pocket.
Go drink yourself happy.
Mills quickly guides the vagrant on his way, then turns and rushes up the stairs, taking them two at a time. Interior John Doe's apartment, main room, night. Mills pushes door 6A open, putting on rubber gloves. He steps in with Somerset behind. Somerset turns back to the policeman.
Right outside.
Somerset closes the door most of the way. Mills hits a switch on the wall and a lamp illuminates a desk. The desk is in the center of the room facing them. The room is bizarre. All the walls are painted black. All the large curtainless windows are painted over. Somerset puts on his gloves. Mills walks to the desk. The desktop is rather tidy. Mills opens the middle desk drawer. It's empty except for the Holy Bible. Somerset moves along shelves of books, looking at the spines, lots of thick, oversized art volumes, a history of theology, handbook of firearms, history of the world, Summa Theologica, United States Criminal Law Review. At the desk, Mills opens another drawer. It's filled with at least 40 empty aspirin bottles. He opens the next drawer and finds a rosary and several books of bullets. Somerset comes to look at John Doe's bed. No mattress. It's only a metal frame and springs with a worn sheet across it. The sheet is sweat-stained and dotted by stains of rust. Somerset walks around the bed to a narrow table against the wall. The table contains a strange tableau, like a mini stage, handmade of cardboard and pasted communion wafers. A human hand immersed in a jar of liquid is at the centerpiece.
Victor.
Above this, there's a clutter of pinned up articles, pictures, and pencil drawings, all typed together and overlapping. Mills picks up a small piece of paper from the letter holder. It's a pink receipt from Wild Bill's Leather Shop. Written, custom job, $502.64, paid in full. Mills puts the receipt down. Somerset walks to a back door, opens it. Interior John Doe's apartment, room 2, night. Somerset enters, a ceiling light is on, bare bulb. There are bookshelves filled with notebooks, thousands of notebooks. Interior John Doe's apartment, main room, night. Mills moves from the desk to a hall. He tries a light switch, but it does nothing. He walks. It's dark, a rather long hall. The only light is a red glow seeping from under the bottom of a closed door ahead. Interior John Doe's apartment, room 2, night. Somerset takes one notebook down. It is a thick composition book with an unlabeled cover. Inside, the pages are filled with small handwritten sentences, thumbnail sketches, and blurry glued in photographs. Small photos seemingly cut from contact sheets. The sketches, pictures, and writings take up every single inch. Interior John Doe's apartment, hall, night. Mills reaches the door at the end of the hall. He turns the knob and pushes the door open. He's bathed in red light. Interior John Doe's apartment, bathroom, night. Mills enters. He looks around slowly, stunned. Interior John Doe's apartment, room 2, night. Somerset takes down another notebook and flips through the pages. Same as the first, filled to the brim with words and sketches. Somerset crosses to another shelf and pulls out another notebook. Same deal. Somerset looks around.
Jesus.
Somerset.
Somerset looks toward the door.
Somerset, come here.
Interior John Doe's apartment, hall/bathroom, night. Somerset comes down the hall.
We had him, damn it.
Somerset reaches the bathroom where Mills stands looking up at the wall. The room has been converted into a dark room lit by red bulbs with strips of film hanging from the ceiling.
What are you talking about?
We had him.
There are hundreds of prints on the walls and hanging from drying wires. Somerset looks around trying to understand. Pictures of John Doe's victims, alive and dead, grotesque photos of their pleading faces and their dead bodies. Close shots of eyes, fingers, and mouths. Mills sits on the closed toilet, throwing something into a nearby sink and resting his head in his hands.
The pass was a fake.
In the sink, it's a laminated press pass on a neck cord. On the walls, more pictures of the crime scenes, but from the outside looking in. Long shots, police cars, ambulances, uniformed officers putting up police barrier ribbons outside buildings, the coroner's wagon. Somerset stares at them, taking them in, realizing.
We had him, and we let him go.
In the backgrounds of the pictures, Somerset and Mills. In another, Mills crossing the street. In another, Somerset and Mills getting out of Somerset's car. One photo close shot shows Mills and Somerset on the stairwell of the building where Victor's body was found. It is the picture taken by the balding, almost silly-looking reporter. Interior, John Doe's apartment, main room, night. The male forensic uses tongs to remove Victor's hands from the jar of liquid. He places the hand in a clear plastic evidence bag. The forensic walks away with the hand, past the female sketch artist who puts the finishing touches on an accurate drawing of the balding, almost silly-looking reporter who wears thick glasses, now known as John Doe.
You're sure this is him?
Mills stands over the artist. Two deputy detectives, Sarah and Billy, work along with the two other forensics, searching, photographing, and dusting.
Just put it in circulation.
You got it. Tomorrow morning, the city's good citizens will be on the lookout for Elmer Fudd.
We can't find anything to hang on. No pay stubs, no appointment books or calendars, and not even an address book. But and you're not going to believe this.
Keep looking.
It's just we haven't found any fingerprints yet. Not a single one.
You know, you're right. I don't believe you. Keep looking.
Mills walks away. Interior John Doe's apartment, room 2, night. Somerset and 3 uniformed officers are looking through the notebooks on the shelves. Somerset squints at the notebook in his hand, shaking his head as he reads. Mills enters. Somerset looks up and closes the notebook.
Use 50 more men here.
I'm trying, all right? Just tell me what we got.
Somerset pauses briefly at Mill's abruptness.
Well, there are at least 5,000 notebooks in this room. And near as I can tell, each notebook contains 250 pages.
Then he must write about these murders.
What sick, ridiculous puppets we are, and what gross little stage we dance on. What fun we have, dancing and fucking, not a care in the world. Not knowing that we are nothing. We are not what was intended.
Somerset turns a few pages.
On the subway today, a man came to me to start a conversation. He made small talk, this lonely man talking about the weather and other things. I tried to be pleasant and accommodating, but my head began to hurt from the banality. I almost didn't notice that it happened, but I suddenly threw up all over him. He was not pleased, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Somerset closes the notebook.
No dates indicated, placed on the shelves in no discernible order. Just his mind poured out on paper. I don't think it's going to give us any specifics.
Looking around, I've got a bad feeling these murders are his life's work.
A phone is heard ringing in another room. Mills looks. Interior John Doe's apartment, main room, night. Everyone's looking around and at each other, trying to find the source of the ringing. Mills and Somerset enter baffled. Mills looks to Sarah. She shrugs and shakes her head. Everyone searches. Phone rings. Mills gets on his hands and knees.
Here.
Mills crawls under John Doe's bed. He comes back out with a rotary phone. Someone throws him a microcassette recorder. Mills turns the recorder on, makes sure it's running, then picks up the phone with the recorder to the earpiece.
Hello.
I admire you. I don't know how you found me, but imagine my surprise. I respect you detectives more every day.
Okay, John, let's...
No, you listen, all right? I'll be readjusting my schedule in light of today's little setback. I just had to call and express my admiration. Sorry I had to hurt one of you, but I didn't have a choice. You will accept my apology, won't you?
Mills says nothing, containing his anger.
I feel like saying more, but I don't want to ruin the surprise.
John Doe hangs up. Mills puts down the phone. Interior John Doe's apartment bathroom, later night. Mills and Somerset stand looking up at the many surrounding photos of horror and misery.
You were right.
Somerset looks to Mills.
He's preaching.
These murders are his sermons to all of us. To all us sinners.
The door opens. It's the captain.
It's been a long day, kids. Go home. Just make sure you sleep with the phone between your legs.
Interior Somerset's apartment, bedroom, night. Somerset winds his metronome. Phone rings. Somerset does not want to answer it, but does.
Hello?
Hello, William. It's Tracy.
Tracy? Is everything all right?
Yes, everything's fine.
Where's David?
Oh, he's in the shower in the other room. I'm sorry to call like this.
It's all right, I guess.
I need to talk to you. I need to talk to someone. Can you meet me somewhere? Maybe tomorrow morning?
I really don't understand.
I feel stupid, but you're the only person I know here, and there's no one else. Can't you get away for a little while?
I don't know. This case.
If you can, please call me. Please. I have to go now. Good night.
Tracy hangs up. Somerset looks at the phone, wondering. Friday. Interior coffee cafe, morning. Somerset sits in the window booth with Tracy. The cafe is noisy. Tracy stares into her coffee while she stirs it.
Tell me. I mean, you know the city, you've been here for so long.
Hard place.
I don't sleep very well.
Somerset tries to be understanding, but glances at his watch.
Yeah, I feel strange being here with you. without David knowing.
I'm sorry. I only.
Two young punks step up to the window outside and look in at Tracy. One flicks his tongue rapidly. Tracy looks away. Somerset takes out his badge and holds it against the window. One punk gives the finger and the other spits on the window. They leave laughing. Tracy tries to smile.
Perfect example.
You have to put blinders on sometimes. Most times.
I don't know why I asked you to come.
Talk to him about it. He'll understand if you tell him how you feel.
I can't be a burden, especially now. I know that I'll get used to things. I guess I just want to know that someone who's lived here thinks. Upstate was completely a different environment. I don't know if David told you, but I teach 5th grade. Or I did.
He mentioned it.
Tracy seems very upset, near tears.
I've been going to some schools looking for work, but the conditions here are horrible.
You should look into private schools.
I don't know.
Tracy looks up, wipes at her eyes.
What's really bothering you?
Tracy bites her lip.
David and I are going to have a baby.
Somerset sits back, the expression of soothing concern on his face disappearing.
Oh, Tracy, I have to tell you, I am not the one to talk to about this.
I hate this city.
Somerset sighs. He takes out a cigarette, but thinks better of it and puts it back. He looks out the window.
If you're thinking, I had a relationship once, very much like a marriage. She was going to have our child a long time ago. She and I decided we were going to make the choice together whether to keep the baby.
Tracy looks at Somerset.
I got up one morning and went to work, just like any other day. Said it was my first since hearing about the baby. And I felt this fear washing over me. I looked around and I thought, how can I raise a child surrounded by all this? How can a child grow up here? So I told her I didn't want us to have it. And over the next few weeks, I convinced her it was wrong. I mean, I wore her down slowly.
I want to have children. It's just.
I can tell you now, I know. I'm positive I made the right decision. I'm positive. There's never a day that passes that I don't wish I had decided differently.
Somerset reaches and takes Tracy's hand.
If you don't want to keep the baby, if that's what you decide, then never tell him you were pregnant. I mean that. Never. The relationship will wither and die.
Tracy nods, tears welling up again. Somerset smiles a bit.
But if you do decide to have the baby, then at that very moment, you're absolutely sure, tell David. Tell him at that exact second, and then spoil that kid every chance you get.
There are tears in Somerset's eyes.
It's all the advice I can give you, Tracy. I don't even know you.
He smiles again, wipes his own tears.
William.
Somerset's beeper begins beeping. He takes it out and stands, wanting to leave. Tracy gets up and kisses him on the cheek.
Thank you.
Somerset starts to back away.
Keep in touch after you're gone, William. Please.
Somerset nods, raises a hand to say goodbye as he leaves. Interior Wild Bill's leather shop day. Mills and Somerset are on one side of the counter and Wild Bill is on the other. Wild Bill is shirtless and covered in tattoos. He has a thick scar running down the center of his forehead and down his cheek. Leather belts, whips, and jackets hang on the walls and from the ceiling.
Yeah, I picked it up last night.
Wild Bill holds the pink receipt from John Doe's apartment.
This was definitely him.
Mills points to the rendering of John Doe he holds.
Yeah, John Doe. Easy name to remember.
What was this job you did for him?
Got a picture of it here. It's a real sweet piece.
Wild Bill pulls a box from behind the counter, digs in it.
I figured he must be one of those performance artists, you know? That's what I figured. One of those guys that pisses in a cup on stage and drinks it. Performance art.
Wild Bill holds a Polaroid to Mills. We do not see it yet.
Oh, give me a break.
I think I undercharged him.
You built this for him. You built this.
I've built weirder shit than that. So what?
A policeman enters the store. Detectives, we have a situation. Mills and Somerset follow the cop out.
Hey, my picture.
Wild Bill watches them go, scratches his thick scar.
Fucking pigs.
Exterior, the hot house massage parlor day. It's a madhouse outside the hot house. A bright red storefront bordered on both sides by porno theater after porno theater. A crowd is gathered around a police action in progress. Cops have formed a barrier, holding back the crowd and creating an aisle from the entrance of the hot house to the back of the jail van. Cops and detectives are escorting various men, women, and transvestites into the large vehicle. The crowd, consisting of the dregs of society, is shouting. Some people are spitting and throwing trash at the cops. Interior, the hot house reception area day. 2 cops are in front of a glass of steel cage. Inside the cage is a fat, bald man with a wall of sex toys behind him.
Just wait, just wait.
One cop pounds his nightstick against the glass.
Get out of the fucking booth.
Just wait, I'll come out, okay? Just wait.
Interior, the hot house corridor is day. All the lights are red and the walls are painted red. Mills and Somerset follow a third cop through the twisting corridors. Policemen can be heard shouting and making arrests. Rock music plays, throbbing. They come to a door.
I don't want to go in there again.
Interior, red room day. Mills and Somerset enter. Rock music continues loud. A strobe light flashes from the ceiling. 2 ambulance attendants are in the room. The first attendant is placing a sheet over a bed, hiding the corpse of a blonde woman. The second attendant is trying to examine the pupils of a crazed man, 55, who is naked and wrapped in a sheet. A sweating cop holds crazed man down.
He made me do it.
I have to look at you. I have to look at you.
Lust is scratched into a red paint on the wall in big letters. Mills and Somerset move towards the covered body.
You're not going to want to see this more than once.
Well, he had a gun. He made me do it.
The sheet is lifted for the detectives. They grimace at what they see. We do not see. Somerset closes his eyes and turns away. The first attendant replaces the sheet. Mills steps back, takes out his handkerchief, and sucks on it. He looks at the crazed man. The crazed man jerks around while the second attendant preps a needle.
He's in shock, man. He's gone.
Take this thing off me. Take it off, please. Take this thing off of me.
The sweating cop keeps his controlling grip on the crazed man.
Get it off. Oh, God.
Is it hot in here? Jesus, you're the detectives, right? You better see this.
Somersault's facing the wall. Crazed man's still yelling.
Hey, you better see what's strapped into this guy.
Mills turns to the cop.
We've already seen it.
Interior Precinct House Interrogation Room 1, day. A Polaroid on a table. It is the photo Wild Bill gave to Mills. It's a picture of a belt made with extra leather straps so it can be worn securely around the groin. It is a strap-on phallus, except there is no plastic protuberance. Instead, there is a metal knife. It's a strap-on butcher's knife.
And he said, he asked me if I was married. and I could see he had a gun in his hand.
Where was the girl?
What? What?
Where was the prostitute? Where was she?
The crazed man leans forward in his chair.
She was on the bed. She was just sitting on the bed.
Who tied her down? You or him?
Like he had a gun. He had a gun. And he made it happen. He made me do it. He made me put that thing on. Oh Christ. He made me wear it and he made me fuck her. Oh God. And the gun in my mouth.
The man slides to the floor and hides his face in his hands.
The gun was in my throat.
Somerset looks up at the mirror in the room. He stands and picks up the Polaroid as two cops enter to collect the crazed man. Interior Precinct House, Interrogation Room 2, day. Mills stands in this dirty room with the dirty bald man from the hothouse's reception area booth.
You didn't hear any screams. Nothing. You didn't notice when this man walked in with a package under his arm.
No. No, I didn't.
You didn't notice anything wrong. Nothing seems strange to you.
Everybody goes in there as a package under his arm, you know. Some guys are carrying suitcases full of stuff, you know what I mean? And screams, there's screams coming out of there every day. It goes with the territory, little boy.
You like what you do for a living? You like the things you see?
The bald man smiles strangely.
No, I don't. That's life.
Interior Precinct House, ready room, early evening. On the blackboard. 1, 2, 3, gluttony, greed, and sloth scratched out. 4, envy. 5, wrath. 6, pride. And 7, lust crossed out. The case has continued its growth. All the desks are now occupied. More information plastering the walls. Phones ring. Through a window into another room, one cop can be seen being interviewed by several eager reporters. Much activity. Amongst all this, at their desks, Somerset and Mills are shell-shocked, silent. Somerset is looking at the blackboard. Mills is staring out an open window. Interior sports bar night. Somerset and Mills sit with a full pitcher of beer. The jukebox plays for the other customers. The walls of the bar are covered with trophies, plaques, and other victory symbols.
You'd come home and you'd read me these morbid crime stories. Murders on the Rue Morgue, Leaf on News green tea. My mother would give him hell because he was keeping me up till all hours.
Sounds like a father who wanted his son to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, one birthday he gave me his brand new hardcover book, Century of the Detective by Jürgen Thorwald. It traced the history of deduction as a science, and it sealed my fate because it was real, not fiction. That a drop of blood or a piece of hair could solve a crime. It's incredible to me.
Somerset drinks, then pours more beer. Pause.
You know, it's not going to be a happy ending to this. It's not possible.
If we get him, I'll be happy enough.
No. But face it now. Stop thinking it's good versus evil.
How can you say that, especially after today?
You tell me. The man has beaten his wife to death, or the wife murders the husband. Wash the blood off the walls, put the killer in jail. Who won?
You do your job.
Where's the victory?
Follow the law and do the best you can. It's all there.
If we caught John Doe and he were the devil, if he were actually Satan, that might live up to our expectations. This is not the devil, just a man.
Why don't you shut up for a while? You bitch and complain. You think you're preparing me for hard times. You're not. You quit, but I'm staying to fight.
Who are you fighting for? People don't want to champion. They just want to play the lotto and eat cheeseburgers.
Christ, how did you end up like this, huh?
No, it wasn't one thing, if that's what you mean. It's just, I can't live anymore where ignorance is embraced and nurtured as if it were a virtue.
You're so much better than everyone, right?
Wrong. I sympathize completely. Apathy is a solution. In a lot of ways, it's easier to lose yourself to drugs than it is to cope with life. Easier to steal something than to earn it. Easier to beat a child than to raise it. Because it takes so much work to love, to care.
We're talking about people who are mentally ill.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about everyday life here. If you want to survive, you can't afford to be this naive.
Fuck you. Listen to yourself. You say the problem with people is they don't care, so I don't care about people. It doesn't make any sense. And you know why?
But you do care.
Damn right.
You're going to make a difference.
Yeah, naive as that may sound. And I don't think you quit because you believe the things you're saying. I think you want to believe them because you quit. You want me to agree with you. Yeah, you're right, Somerset. This is fuck. Let's go live in a fucking log cabin. Well, I don't agree with you. I can't afford to. I'm staying.
Mills gets up and throws some money on the table.
Thanks for the beer.
Mills leaves, other patrons watching him. Somerset takes out a cigarette and goes to light it. The lighter won't light. When it finally does, Somerset's hand is trembling. Interior Mills apartment, bedroom, night. Mills comes quietly into the dark bedroom. Tracy is asleep on the bed. Mills takes off his suit jacket, puts it down. He sits on a chair and unties one shoe, takes it off, then looks at Tracy. Looks at her a long moment. He puts the shoe on the floor and goes to get on the bed. He kisses his wife's forehead, kisses her cheek, then wraps his arms around her. He holds her tight, kisses her again. Tracy stirs.
Honey?
Mills runs his fingers along her face.
I love you.
Mills holds her tighter. She wraps her arms around him. They lie together, clinging, holding together tighter. Interior Somerset's apartment, bedroom, night. Somerset is in bed. The metronome is sounding. Tick, tick, tick. The sounds of the city are loud. Somerset closes his eyes, concentrates on the metronome. Tick, tick, tick. Two men are heard outside yelling at each other. Somerset rolls over, restless. Tick, tick, tick. Glass is heard shattering. Somerset opens his eyes. More glass bottles being smashed. Somerset sits up. He reaches over, grabs the metronome, and throws it against the wall. Interior Somerset's apartment, living room, later night. Thwack! Somerset's switchblade hits the dartboard on the wall and the blade embeds. Somerset crosses the room, still dressed for bed. He is tense. He takes the switchblade out from the dartboard, paces back across the room, turns, holds the blade, then throws. The blade sticks. Somerset paces back to the dartboard, pulls the blade, paces back, throws the knife. Thwack! He goes to the board, gets the blade, paces, turns, throws. Thwack! Saturday. Interior John Doe's apartment, main room, day. A clock on the wall says 12:30. Interior John Doe's apartment, room 2, day. Three deputy detectives are reading John Doe's notebooks. Phone rings from the other room. Interior John Doe's apartment, main room. One deputy enters. He goes to the phone near the bed. The phone's been hooked into a recording device with a speaker and tracing equipment. The deputy turns everything on, answers.
Oh, I've gone and done it again.
Interior luxury apartment, bathroom, day. Somerset is looking around this femininely decorated bathroom with its forensic gill. Both wear rubber gloves. In the sink, objects covered in blood. A pair of scissors, a hypodermic needle, first aid tape and gauze bandages, a bottle of anesthetic, a straight razor, and a tube of super glue. Gil.
He really did a number on her, didn't he?
Gil opens the plastic shower curtain and looks into the tub. The tub and shower wall are splattered with blood. The tub has a few inches of water in it. The water is cloudy red. A few bits of tape and gauze float in it. Gil jiggles the drain's knob. Some bubbles pop up from the clogged drain. Interior luxury apartment, bedroom, day. Pride is written in lipstick on a full-length mirror. Below that, I did not kill her. She was given a choice. Mills and Dr. O'Neill are in the room. O'Neill goes through his black bag. They're by a bed where a woman lies dead under a blanket. The woman's head is sloppily bandaged with heavy white gauze and tape. The gauze is stained by spots of blood. Only her eyes and mouth have been left uncovered. A zoo's worth of stuffed animals have been placed across the bed. The woman holds a stuffed unicorn. Somerset enters from the bathroom as Mills reaches to take the unicorn from the woman's grasp. There's a cordless phone in her left hand, and her hand clings to it. Her right hand holds a bottle of prescription pills. Mills tries to open the fingers of this hand with a tongue depressor, but they are super glued to the bottle. Mills turns the woman's hand slightly, so 2 red pills roll out onto the blanket.
Sleeping pills.
Mills examines the left hand. The phone is glued into it. O'Neill stands up, holding a thin pair of silver scissors. He leans to slide the scissors under the woman's bandage mask, starts cutting. Somerset goes to a dresser where the woman's purse sits open. He takes out the driver's license and looks at the photo. The woman in the picture is stunningly beautiful.
You see what he did?
Mills is watching the doctor work.
He cut her up and dressed the wounds.
Call for help and you'll live, but you'll be disfigured. Or put yourself out of your misery.
O'Neill removes the bandages. Mills looks away. We do not see. O'Neill looks to the detectives.
He cut off her nose to spite her face, and he did it very recently.
Exterior city street day. Mills' car pulls up in front of the precinct house. Mills and Somerset get out. They wade through cars towards the old precinct house building.
I've decided to stay on this till it's over. Till it's either done or we can both see that it's never going to finish.
Mills remains massive.
Oh, you want to
And
stay
baffled.
now?
One of 2 things will happen. We're either going to get John Doe or he'll finish his series of 7 and this case will go on for years.
You think you're doing me a big favor by staying?
I'm requesting you keep me on as your partner for a few more days. You'd be doing me a favor.
Mills walks on.
You knew I'd say yes.
No, actually, I wasn't sure at all.
Somerset and Mills climb the stairs of the precinct house. Behind them in the street, John Doe's car pulls up and parks. Cars behind begin beeping. People behind begin cursing and screaming for him to move. John Doe steps out. His brown work boots, pants, and shirt tails are spattered with blood. He walks toward the precinct house, hands in his pockets, like he's out for a stroll. People on the sidewalk avoid him. Interior precinct house, receiving lobby day. Mills and Somerset walk past booking cubicles and benches of handcuffed lowlifes. Junkies are being led through by uniformed cops. The place is swimming with activity. The 2 detectives head to the wide duty desk at the end of the room.
As soon as this is over, I'm gone.
Big surprise.
They pass through a gate and Somerset goes toward a staircase leading upstairs. Mills stops at the duty desk. Other cops are vying for the duty sergeant's attention.
Mills and Somerset are on the premises.
Under fucking full.
Another plainclothes cop behind the duty desk leans over to hold out a few phone messages note to Mills.
Your wife called this morning. Do us a favor and get yourself an answer machine. How about it?
Mills nods and waves dismissively, pocketing the messages without looking at them, and walks to follow Somerset.
Detective.
Mills heads toward the stairs.
Detectives!
Mills looks back, stops. John Doe stands inside the precinct house doors. He gives a very slight smile.
I believe you're looking for me.
Somerset stops, looks back down the stairs. Mills is staring at Doe, not comprehending. Doe holds up his arms as if to say, "Presto, I am here." All eyes go to the blood-soaked figure of John Doe. There comes a sudden, near silence in the room. One uniformed cop takes out his gun, points it at John Doe.
Ah, it's him.
Several other cops drop what they're doing and draw weapons. Mills, still off balance, takes out his own gun, walking back through the gate. He points the gun at John Doe.
Get down. Get down on the floor.
Cops move slowly in on Doe from all sides.
You heard him, fuckface. Get down.
Somerset comes back through the gate.
Be careful.
John Doe gets down on his knees, hands in the air. Mills, pulse pounding, steps up, guns in both hands, not too close.
Down. Face on the floor.
One cop comes from behind and nudges Doe with his foot.
Spread your legs, get your hands out in front of you.
John Doe lies on his stomach, obeying. Mills comes up and puts his gun right against Doe's head.
Don't move. Don't move an inch.
One cop begins frisking Doe. Another comes to put on cuffs. Somerset comes to Mills' side.
I don't believe it.
Hello.
The cop putting on the handcuffs looks up at Somerset and Mills.
The fuck is this?
The cop holds up Doe's cuffs hands. Doe winces. Every single one of Doe's fingers has bandage wrapped around it. John Doe tries to muster a smile, his face pressed against the floor, glasses askew, gun at his temple.
I want to speak with my lawyer.
Interior Precinct House, Observation Room Day. Mills holds a fingerprint card. A black ink prints are just useless blobs smeared with blood. Mills, Somerset, and the captain stand in darkness. Mills looks up from the print card through a two-way mirror into an interrogation room. In the interrogation room, John Doe sits handcuffed to the wall. This is not some superhuman serial killer. He looks more like an eccentric college professor, not seething with anger, but looking around with calm, almost lazy eyes. The lawyer, Mark Swar, sits taking notes and talking with Doe.
He cuts off the skin of his fingertips. That's why we can't find a single usable print in the apartment. He's been doing it for quite a while. Keeps cutting before the papillary line can grow back.
What about the trace on his bank account and the guns? There must be something to connect him with the past.
So far, it's all dead ends. No credit history, no employment history. His bank account is only 5 years old and it started as cash. We're even trying to trace his furniture. But for now, all we know is he's independent, well-educated, and totally insane. He may never know how we got that way.
Because he's John Doe by choice.
When do we get to question him?
You don't. It goes to court now.
He wouldn't just turn himself in. It doesn't make any sense.
Somerset moves from the window, crossing the room to sit.
Well, there he sits. It's not supposed to make sense.
He's not finished.
He's pissing in our faces again, and we're just taking it.
You're wound too tight, Mills. Let it go.
The captain walks. Mills is furious. He presses his fingers against the two-way mirror, pushes to crack his knuckles loudly.
You know he's fucking us.
You and I are probably for the first time ever in total agreement. It wouldn't just stop.
Well, what the fuck, man?
He's only 2 murders away from finishing his masterpiece, right? I can't even imagine how he'll try to finish it. Can you?
Mills looks in at John Doe. Somerset comes to stand behind.
No.
We'll wait for his plea.
Interior Precinct House, Ready Room Day. Mills is at the desk, feet up. He stares at the blackboard. 1, gluttony. 2, greed. 3, sloth. 4, envy. 5, wrath. 6, pride. 7, lust. Clock on the wall says 4:45. Somerset packs books into boxes, preparing for his eventual departure. No one else around. The captain opens the door, steps in, and clears his throat, looking like there's something making him very unhappy. Interior Precinct House, Captain's Office, Day. Mills and Somerset stand together. The captain is behind his desk with Martin Talbot, the DA, seated in front of him. Mark Swar is addressing them all, seems nervous but in control.
My client says there are 2 more bodies, 2 more victims hidden away. You will take Detectives Mills and Somerset here to these bodies, but only Detective Mills and Somerset. Only at 6 o'clock today.
Talbot wipes the moist brow of the handkerchief.
Oh, Christ.
Why us?
He says he admires you.
It's all part of his game.
My client claims that if the detectives do not accept this offer, these 2 bodies will never be found.
Frankly, counselor, I'm inclined to let them rot.
We don't make deals, Mr. Swar.
Mills gets in Swar's face.
How is it defending a scumbag like this? You proud of yourself?
Ease back, Mills.
I'm required by law to serve my clients to the best of my ability and to serve their best interests.
Mills backs off.
Well, we're gonna have facts.
My client, he also wishes to inform you that if you do not accept, he will plead insanity across the board.
Let him try. I'd like to see him try.
Come now, Martin. We all know with the extreme nature of these crimes, it could get him off in such a plea.
Talbot considers this, wringing the handkerchief in his hands. Mills looks at Somerset. Somerset looks at him.
I'm not letting this conviction slide. I can tell you that right here, right now.
He says, if you accept, under his specific conditions, he will sign a full confession and plead guilty. Right here, right now.
Talbot glares at Swar.
What do you think?
I'm in.
It has to be both of you.
If you were to claim insanity, this conversation is admissible. The fact that he's blackmailing us with his plea.
And my client reminds you, 2 more are dead. The press would have a field day if they found out the police didn't seem too concerned about finding them, giving them a proper burial.
If there really are 2 more dead.
Captain picks up a sheet from his desk.
The lab report came up from downtown. They did a quickie on John Doe's clothing and fingernails. They found blood from Doe from cutting his own fingers. There was blood from the woman whose face he cut off and blood from the third party, as yet to be identified.
You would be escorting an unarmed man.
Somerset thinks it over. He looks to Mills.
Let's finish it.
Somerset looks at the floor, then at Swar.
Well, get the fucking lawyer out of the room and we can talk about how this whole thing's gonna go down.
Interior precinct house, bathroom locker room day. Somerset's hands reaches to the sink to pick up a razor. Somerset and Mills are at the sinks looking at themselves in mirrors, shirtless. They have shaving cream spread across their chests. Somerset flicks his cigarette in the sink, then brings the razor up to start shaving the hair off his chest. Mills is already doing the same.
If John Doe's head splits open and a UFO flies out, I want you to have expected it.
I will.
They continue shaving.
If I were to accidentally cut off one of my nipples, would that be covered by workman's compensation?
Somerset smiles just slightly.
Suppose so. If you're man enough to actually file the claim, I'd buy a new one out of my own pocket.
Mills finishes shaving, washes and wipes his chest off with a towel. He turns dead serious.
Listen, Somerset,
Mills pauses, sighs. Somerset stops shaving and looks at him.
What is it?
well, it's nothing.
Mills continues shaving. Somerset watches him. Interior ready room day. Somerset and Mills have their shirts open. A female technician tapes a transmitter and microphone to Mills' chest. Somerset is already wired up, pressing the adhesive to make sure it'll hold. The technician finishes prepping Mills. Somerset buttons up his shirt. The technician packs up her kit, leaving. The room is quiet. Somerset picks up his bulletproof vest, slides into it. Mills looks at his watch, puts on his own vest, fastening it tight. He looks at Somerset. Somerset takes out a roll of antacids and pops a few. Mills holds out his hand and waits for an antacid. Somerset looks at him, flicks a few into Mills' palm. Mills chews them.
Cold as ice.
Somerset picks up his gun off a chair. Mills picks up his gun. They both check them out and close them up. They lay the guns in the holsters at the small of their backs. They look at each other. Somerset holds out his hand. Mills shakes it. Interior City Street Precinct House front day. The street is full of shadows as the sun is falling low. At the front of the precinct house, a throng of reporters shifts anxiously. A line of policemen holds them back. Martin Talbot steps out of the precinct house, cops on either side of him. The press swarm lurches forward, flash bulbs exploding. Talbot holds out his hands, prepping to speak. Exterior City Street Precinct House rear day. At the rear of the precinct house, Somerset's car pulls out of the fenced-in parking lot. The car speeds up on the street and turns the corner, heading to the grim city. Exterior skyscraper rooftop day. California is dressed in full battle gear, looking through binoculars to the city below. The wind blows hard. A pilot holding 2 helmets comes up behind California. A sleek police officer sits on the roof's helipad.
This wind gonna hurt us?
It makes the ride more fun.
The cocky pilot grins. Interior Somerset's car day. Somerset is at the wheel. Mills is behind the protective wire mesh in the backseat beside John Doe. Doe's handcuffs are attached to ankle cuffs by a length of chain. He is looking out the window, sweaty but placid.
Who are you, John? Who are you really?
John Doe looks to Somerset's eyes in the rearview mirror.
What do you mean?
I mean, at this point, what would it hurt if you told us a little bit about yourself?
It doesn't matter who I am. Who I am means absolutely nothing. You need to turn left here at the traffic light.
Where are we headed?
You'll see.
Mills looks at Doe for a long time in silence.
We're not just going to pick up 2 more bodies, are we, Johnny? That wouldn't be shocking enough. Not for you, not for the newspapers.
Wanting people to pay attention, you can't just tap them on the shoulder. You have to hit them with a sledgehammer. Then you have their strict attention.
What makes you so special that people should pay attention?
Not me. I'm not special. I'm not exceptional. This is, well, what I'm doing.
I don't see anything unusual about these precious murders of yours.
That's not true.
In 2 months, no one's going to even remember this happened.
Doe looks down for a moment, then looks up almost shyly.
You can't see the whole complete act yet. When this is done, it's going to be so...
Spit it out.
It's going to be flawless. People will barely comprehend, but they won't be able to deny.
Could you possibly be any more non-specific? I mean, as master plans go.
I can't wait for you to see. I can't wait.
Doe licks his lips. He clenches his hands into fists, digging his bandaged fingertips into his sweaty palms.
It's really going to be something.
Well, I'll be standing right beside you the whole time. You be sure to let me know when this whole complete reality thing is done. I wouldn't want to miss it.
Oh, don't worry. You won't.
Interior police helicopter day. The helicopter is in flight above the city. California is strapped in, hanging out the door. He holds a high-powered automatic rifle, wears goggles and a helmet headset.
You won't miss a thing.
2 other armed cops sit in the chopper's belly. California leans in and looks up towards the pilot.
Heading over the bridge and keep him in sight. Just keep your distance.
The pilot looks back and nods. Exterior city sky day. The chopper dips, flying like a bullet over the polluted city, heading towards the setting sun. Exterior city streets day. Somerset's car moves along a highway at River's Edge, heading for a huge suspension bridge filled with speeding traffic ahead. Interior Somerset's car day. John Doe has his head against the window, looking up at the bridge, excited. He sits back, glances out the back window, then faces front, bites his lip, fidgety, like a kid on Christmas Day. Somerset's watching him through the rearview mirror.
What's so exciting, John?
It's not too far now.
Now, I've been wondering, and maybe you can shed some light on this for me. Do people know when they're insane? Like, here's what I mean. When you're in bed at night and you're almost about to fall asleep, do you ever just stop and say to yourself, man, oh man, am I ever nuts? It's interesting what a complete fucking fruitcake I am.
It's more comfortable for you to label me insane.
Seems a pretty accurate label to me.
It's something I wouldn't expect you to accept, but I didn't choose. I was chosen.
Sure you were.
I don't have any doubt you believe that, John. I think you're ignoring a glaring contradiction.
Silence. Doe lets a long moment pass, hesitant.
Meaning what?
I'm glad you asked. If you were chosen, as if by some higher power, your hand was forced. Well,
Somerset turns in his seat to look Doe in the eye.
then it seems strange that you'd have taken such pleasure from it.
Somerset stares at Doe. Doe stares back. After a moment, Somerset turns back to the road ahead.
You enjoyed torturing those people. It's not really in keeping with martyrdom, is it?
It's the first time anything's gotten to Doe. He's ashamed, though trying not to let it bother him.
I doubt I enjoyed it any more than Detective Mills would enjoy time with me in a room without windows. Isn't that true? How happy would it make you to hurt me with impunity?
I wouldn't do something like that, Johnny. I like you. I like you a lot.
You wouldn't, because you know there are consequences. It's in those eyes of yours, though. Nothing wrong with the man taking pleasure in his work. I won't deny my own personal desire to turn each sin against the sinner. I only took their sins to logical conclusions.
You killed innocent people to get your rocks off, that's all.
Innocent? Is that supposed to be funny? Look at the people. Look at them all. An obese man, a disgusting man who could barely stand up. If you saw him on the street, you'd point him out for your friends so they could join in you in mocking him. If you saw him while you were eating, you wouldn't finish your meal. After him, I picked the lawyer, and you must have been secretly thanking me for that one. This was a man who dedicated his life to making money by lying with every breath he could muster to keep rapists and murderers on the streets.
Murderers.
A woman.
Murderers like you.
A woman so ugly on the inside that she couldn't bear to go on the living if she couldn't be beautiful on the outside. A drug dealing pederast, actually. And don't forget the disease spreading horror. Only in a world this shitty could you even try to say these were innocent people and keep a straight face. This is the point. You see sin on every corner, in every home, literally, and we tolerate it because it's common, it's trivial, and we tolerate all day long, morning, noon, and night. Not anymore. I'm setting the example, and it's going to be puzzled over and studied and followed from now on.
Delusions of grandeur.
You should be thanking me.
And why is that?
You're going to be remembered because of me. The only reason I'm here right now is because I wanted to be.
We would have found you eventually.
Really? Biding your time, toying with me, is that it? Letting 5 people die until you finally felt like springing your trap.
Doe leans toward Mills, slowly getting to him.
Tell me what it was that gave me away. What was the indisputable evidence you were going to use against me right before I walked up to you and put my hands in the air?
I seem to remember us knocking on your door.
And I remember breaking your nose. You're only alive because I didn't kill you.
Sit back.
John Doe doesn't sit back, staying very close.
I spared you. Remember that every time you look in the mirror at that nose on your face for the rest of your life. Or should I say, for the rest of what life I've allowed you to have.
Mills shoves Doe back, gripping him, fed up and furious.
I said sit back, freak, sit back.
Mills releases Doe. Doe takes a deep breath and lets it out. In the front seat, Somerset turns to shoot a concerned glance at Mills, then faces front, looking in the rearview mirror. In the mirror, Doe, calm, gives Somerset a smile. Doe then turns his attention back out the passenger window, watching the world pass by, his face against the glass. Mills looks out the window, letting his anger come down.
Don't ask me to pity those people. I don't mourn them any more than I mourn the thousands who died in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mills almost lets this pass, but can't. Blunted anger.
You fuck. You really think what you did was God's good work?
Pause. John Doe is pressing his forefinger into the tip of his thumb, causing blood to drip from under the bandage.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Exterior sky, early evening. The helicopter flies over huge blackened industrial parks, past smokestacks spewing soot. The sky is turning crimson. Interior police helicopter early evening. California leans way out, looking back at the city. Exterior industrial road early evening. Somerset's car comes down this rocky, deserted strip towards the industrial parks. The car tosses dirt into the air where it is captured in the wind. Exterior sky early evening. The chopper roars high above the stench of the industrial road. This is the only road through the vast desert. Huge electrical towers carry power cables to the horizon. Interior police helicopter early evening. California still leans out, gun poised, looks over the desert.
There ain't no ambush out here. There ain't no fucking nothing out here.
I'm not going to be able to land anywhere near those wires, huh?
I know it. We got about 2 minutes before they come up behind us. Go high, way up. In 60 seconds, cut to the east.
Exterior sky early evening. The chopper climbs, really moving. Exterior industrial road early evening. Somerset's car comes down the road. The car slows and stops. Mills gets out and goes to extract dough. Somerset gets out, looking west to the industrial parks and city beyond. The sky is red. Somerset walks and looks to the east. The sky is darkening. Very far away, a passenger train moves to the east. Somerset watches the train, walking to the edge of the roadway. He looks down and steps back from what he sees. A dog lies dead, old and moldering. Somerset turns to the car where John Doe stands with Mills. Doe points with his cuffed hand to the dog, grins.
I didn't do that.
Exterior desert early evening. The wind howls, pounding on John Doe as he walks slowly, encumbered by the chain between his ankles. Mills is with Doe, squinting from the dust. He looks around, cautious. Somerset walks behind them. Doe keeps looking back toward the car on the industrial road.
What are you looking for?
Doe looks forward.
What time is it?
Why?
Somerset looks at his watch. It's 1 minute after 7.
I want to know.
Mills gives Doe a shove. Somerset looks back toward the industrial road, worried.
Just keep leading the way.
It's close.
Mills?
Mills and Doe look back at Somerset. Somerset is facing the industrial road, pointing. A van is coming, dust flying. Somerset looks at Mills. Mills looks at Somerset. They take out their guns. Somerset starts toward the road.
Stay with him.
Wait,
There's no time to discuss it.
Somerset runs to head off the van. John Doe begins walking to follow Somerset.
There it goes.
Mills levels his gun at John Doe's head. Exterior desert near industrial road early evening. Somerset runs, breathing hard, opening the top of his bulletproof vest to speak into his hidden microphone.
There's a van coming down the industrial road, coming from the west.
Interior police helicopter early evening. The chopper circles in the air with the sun behind it. Another cop is in the hatchway beside California, looking through binoculars. The radio reception is breaking up, crackling.
Delivery van, west.
There's a blast of static. California hits his helmet.
Goddamn power lines.
Don't know what it is. Come around, come around.
Exterior desert near industrial road early evening. Somerset continues, charging to the road.
Just get ready for anything and wait for my signal. Wait for me.
Exterior desert early evening. Mills keeps the gun on John Doe, watches Somerset far off.
It's good. We have some time to talk.
Doe starts walking again.
get down. Get down on your knees.
Mills grabs Doe and kicks his knees out, making Doe kneel. Mills positions himself behind Doe. Now Mills can keep the gun on Doe and still watch Somerset. Exterior desert industrial road early evening. Somerset comes up on the road near his car. He signals for the van to stop, then fires a warning shot in the air. The van is about 100 yards away, still coming. Somerset walks towards it, breathless, pointing his gun.
Stop the van. Stop.
The van brakes, wheels sliding on the loose roadway, stops. Somerset moves up to it, staying about 10 feet away.
Get out. Now with your hands in your head. Do it now.
The driver of the van, a delivery man, pushes the door open and slides out. Slow, takes off his sunglasses.
Jesus Christ. Man, don't shoot me.
Turn around. Hands in your head.
The hell's going on?
Who are you? What are you doing out here?
I'm just delivering a package.
Interior police helicopter early evening. California listens as the chopper spins over industrial parks.
It's just a package for this guy, David. Detective David Mills.
Motherfucker.
The pilot looks back at California.
Let's do it.
No, wait for Somerset.
Exterior desert early evening. Mills and Doe can see Somerset keeping his distance from the delivery man. The delivery man moves to the back of the van and opens the van's rear door.
When I said I admired you, I meant what I said. I do admire you.
Mills keeps his eyes on the van, but steps up to place his gun at the back of Doe's head, pulls the hammer back.
Shut up.
Exterior desert industrial road early evening. Somerset comes to put his gun right behind the delivery man's ear.
Slowly.
The delivery man nods, reaching to take a brown package about a foot square from the van.
This guy paid me $500 to bring it out here. You wanted it here exactly at 7 o'clock.
Put it down. Put it on the ground.
Okay.
He puts it on the road and backs away, holding up his hands. Somerset glances across the desert to see Doe on his knees with Mills behind him. Somerset looks at the package, written on top, Detective David Mills, handle with care.
Face the van. Do it. Face with your hands behind your head.
Somerset keeps his gun on the delivery man and his eyes on the box. The delivery man presses his face against the side of the van. Somerset frisks him hastily, shoves his hand in the delivery man's back pocket and pulls out his wallet.
Turn around.
The delivery man obeys. He's scared. Somerset goes through the wallet, shaking it, dumping its contents on the ground. He bends to retrieve the driver's license, looking at it and comparing it to the delivery man's face. Somerset pockets the license, then moves to the van, opening the driver's door.
Climb in.
Somerset examines the driver's area, looks under the seat, then takes the keys from the ignition and pockets them. He motions to the delivery man.
Climb in. Give me your registration.
All right.
Somerset backs up, keeping his gun trained, while the delivery man climbs across the front seat. Somerset pulls his bulletproof vest and speaks into the mic.
All right, there's a package here. It's from John Doe.
Somerset doesn't know what to do. He walks around the package.
I don't know.
Interior helicopter early evening. California is getting nothing but static. He pounds his helmet, turning to look at the pilot.
Bomb squad, call it in now.
Exterior desert industrial road early evening. The delivery man warily brings the registration to Somerset. Somerset glances at it, shoves it in his pocket, then reaches to take the delivery man's ID tag off his uniform. Somerset looks out towards Doe and Mills, then to the package. Interior helicopter early evening. California waits, listening, looking into the blood-red sky.
Gonna have to open it.
Exterior desert early evening. Mills watches Somerset push the delivery man away.
I wish I could have been a normal man like you. I wish I could have a simple life.
What the fuck is going on?
Exterior desert industrial road early evening. Somerset shoves the delivery man.
Go, run.
The delivery man gladly starts running down the industrial road, not looking back. Somerset turns. He walks, kneels in front of the package, reupholstering his gun, talking into his microphone.
I sent the delivery guy out on foot and have him pick him up. He's heading west.
Somerset pulls his switchblade, clicks it open.
I'm opening the package now.
He cuts across the top of the box, hands shaking. Cuts quickly. He fumbles with the thick tape, ripping it. He pulls the box open, pulls at some bubble wrap inside. Interior police helicopter early evening. The pilot grits his teeth. Static roars.
We lost him. Let's go.
We are going to wait.
California listens. Faintly through white noise.
Oh, Christ. Oh, Christ.
Exterior desert industrial road early evening. Somerset stumbles backwards away from the open box. He is horribly shaken. his eyes filled with numb fear. He leans against the van for support, retches, sick, holds the back of his hand to his mouth.
No.
Exterior desert, early evening. Mills is watching Somerset, grabs John Doe by the shirt.
Get up, stand up, let's go.
Doe stands, tries to walk. Mills is moving quickly towards Somerset. Doe can't keep up.
You've made a good life for yourself.
Shut up.
Doe falls and Mills starts dragging him. Exterior desert, industrial road, early evening. Somerset wipes saliva from his lips and tears from his eyes. He takes a deep breath, looks to see Mills dragging Doe.
Oh, fuck, no.
Somerset straightens, tries to pull himself together. He swallows, draws his gun.
Listen to me. Whatever you do, don't come in here. Stay away. No matter what you hear, do not move in. John Doe has the upper hand here.
Somerset picks up his switchblade and flips the blade back in. He enters the flatlands running. Exterior desert, early evening. Mills sees Somerset coming and pulls Doe so that Doe stands.
Here he comes.
What the fuck is going on?
I want you to know, I wish I could have lived like you.
Somerset keeps running toward Mills, mud splattering.
Mills, put your gun down. Throw it away.
Mills leaves Doe behind, walks towards Somerset, gun down.
What?
Somerset is 50 yards away and closing.
Throw your gun down now.
What are you talking about? What happened?
Do you hear me, Detective Mills? I'm trying to tell you how much I admire you. And your pretty wife. What was her name? Tracy?
Mills freezes, turns to John Doe.
What did you say?
Doe smiles. Somerset slows, close by, out of breath.
Throw your weapon, detective. Now.
Disturbing how easily a member of the press can purchase information from the men in your precinct.
David, please.
I visited your home this morning after you left.
Mills is filled with aching terror.
I tried to play husband, tried to taste the life of a simple man. Didn't work out. But I took a souvenir.
Mills turns to look at Somerset with pleading eyes. Somerset holds out a hand.
Give me the gun.
Her pretty head.
Somerset.
Because I envy your normal life. It seems envy is my sin.
Fury rises in Mills. He grips John Doe's shirt collar, pressing his gun against John Doe's forehead. Somerset raises his gun and points it at Mills.
No!
Mills sees Somerset's gun, raises his gun to Somerset, still gripping Doe.
Tell me it's not true.
I can't let you do this.
What's in it?
Somerset keeps his gun on Mills, can't hold back tears.
What's in it? What's in the fucking box?
Somerset still cannot answer, gun in his hand trembling.
Just told you.
Somerset, it's not true.
Oh, it is.
David, please.
Mills stares at Somerset, gun pointed. The wind whips across them. The helicopter can be heard distantly. Mills turns his gun back to John Doe.
Listen to me. This is what he wants.
Doe stares up at Mills with wild expectation.
Become vengeance, David.
Shut up.
Become wrath.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Mills pistol whips John Doe across the face, knocks him to one side. John Doe straightens, still on his knees, face bloodied.
Kill me.
Doe lowers his head, waiting for execution.
He wants you to do it.
Mills holds the gun at Doe's head, undecided, furious.
You know you can't.
Wrong.
You murderous suspect, you're throwing everything away. Everything.
She begged for her life, Detective.
Somerset edges toward them, gun leveled at Mills all the while.
Stop it. You stay away.
She begged for her life and for the life of the baby inside her.
Mills' face fills with confusion, then a wave of horror. Doe's eyes register shock.
You didn't know.
Mills gags, tears welling up. He kicks, slams John Doe in the face, knocking him onto his back. Doe's gasping, glasses cracked. again getting back onto his knees.
I won't let you do it.
Fuck you, fuck you. You won't say anything. He tried to run. I shot him, whatever.
Mills tears at the bulletproof vest, reaching under to yank the microphone and receiver.
No one has to know.
He rips off the wire and throws it aside, standing with the gun aimed at John Doe's head.
If you're gone, who fights?
For what?
Don't listen.
Mills stands, both hands on his gun, shaking, trying to bring himself to pull the trigger. Somerset takes a step forward, gun still leveled at Mills.
David, who takes my place? If you're gone, who's gonna fight?
Who cares?
Mills cocks the hammer of his gun. John Doe closes his eyes. Somerset pulls the hammer of his gun. Blam! Blood explodes across John Doe's face. Blood splatters onto Mills, but Mills seems surprised. He turns, gasping, looking to Somerset. Somerset stands, terrified, his smoking gun pointed down at John Doe. He shot Doe, not Mills. John Doe falls back and gurgles, his chest bursts and flowing from the bullet that ripped him, looking towards Somerset in horror.
Ugh, not you.
Mills stares at Somerset in disbelief.
What are you doing?
Somerset takes a step forward, gun pointed.
Retiring.
Somerset's eyes are filled with tears. Go to black. Complete black. One gunshot is heard. Blam! The end. And there's the head.
Yay! Thank you everyone for watching. Have a wonderful night.
Seriously.